started.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So far we had a journey of planning for good health infrastructure, building up an hospital, or how to make an existing hospital better. So we had done an architect planning discussion, then layouts discussion, then we had discussion about what are the services needs to be provided. Now we have reached a stage where we are going to enter the OT, medical equipments, and air conditioning, electric power procurement. How to decide on how much electric power is required for each floor or overall building, and what should be the backup of DG. How much kV of electricity needs to be taken, or backup needs to be taken. So we have reached state over there. So today the discussion is going to be on medical equipment, beds and accessories, which one to buy, which how to decide on, because we have so many options in the market, from electronic, automatic to semi-automatic to manual, depending on which part of the hospital we are planning to buy, whether to ICU or in the general wards or the super deluxe room. Then that's going to be discussed, and for that topic we have speaker Mr. Balamurali Senthil, then followed by him. We will be discussing on quick review on purchasing the warmers and incubator care by Mr. Chandan Gupta. Then we have a topic 3, that is air conditioning system, OT doors, hospital wall paneling, how to choose and what to look for when we are deciding whether to go for a modular OT, on the services what we are providing. Based on that, how to decide on which one to go about. Then we have the 4th topic, that is the electric load procurement, which is very important for the hospital, and whether to go for what kV of electricity power we need to take, how to safely procure the things, and how to decide on that. That will be discussed by Mr. Neelesh Shinde. He has been our earlier speaker. Thank you once again for all the speaker, including our Mr. Neelesh Shinde, for accepting our request. And for today's session will be moderated by Dr. Vijay Kulkarni, and we have panelists Mr. Vinod and Dr. Vijay Kumar. So on behalf of NNF Karnataka and our entire team and office, we would like to give a warm welcome, and thank you once again for accepting our request to be part of this webinar series, which is actually helping a lot of doctors to think in a different perspective apart from their clinical skills. It has been really a good journey so far with extremely good feedback. So now I request our first speaker, Mr. Balamurali Senthil, to start the presentation, and then we will move on to all the questions, queries we will take up once all the 4 sessions are done. So over to Mr. Balamurali Senthil. Hello. You are there, sir? Mr. Balamurali Senthil? Yeah. I cannot see his name. Anviti? Anviti?
Sir, I am calling her. 1 second.
Yeah.
Prashant, we will take the second topic. Let him come. Go ahead with the second topic.
Yeah, so I request Mr. Chandan Gupta. He'll be speaking on quick review on purchasing warmers and incubators. Mr. Chandan Gupta. Yeah, before you start, I request you to kindly introduce yourself so that our attendees get a idea about the
Prashant, I think I will.
Yeah,
Dr. Prashant, I think I will introduce.
Yeah,
I will
over to
introduce
you.
Chandan.
Yep.
Yeah. Chandan, heads the infant care portfolio for GE. Is general manager for maternal infant care. I've known him for the last 15 years, and I should say he was the one who introduced me to infant care. So, most of you know that I am mostly in the ultrasound space, and for the few years that I was leading the clinical care business, Chandan used to work closely with me. And at that time, infant care, especially high-end infant care, or GE had a very, very high-end infant care portfolio, which is predominantly giraffe. And I should say it was Chandan's guidance. He was the one who pulled me into focusing on this business, and we could stitch in good partnerships, with SLE during that tenure. He was the one who suggested. He got the SLE head to, Bangalore and discussed with us, and we could make the partnership. And of course, we had giraffe portfolio, and then GE expanded its portfolio subsequently. And he was one who was completely, spearheading the value portfolio of the warmer phototherapies and resuscitators that we make from Bangalore. He is an expert in infant care. Of course, he's an expert in many other modalities like anesthesia and ventilators as well. But to me, I can say that he's my guru in infant care. So that's why I thought he'll be the appropriate person for talking the session. And welcome, Chandan. Very happy to host you in this program. And all over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Ganesh. After such nice introductions, I hope that I will be able to meet up the expectations. So I would start with this statement. Like 16 years back, when my twins were born as a premature babies, they were 30 weeks gestation. It was almost like talk of the town in Calcutta, like whether they will survive or not. But today, down the line, after 16 years, even 30 weeks is just a joke. Like, it happens everywhere. So today we are hearing about that the premature, the survival, even we are talking about 26 weeks, even 25 weeks, we are hearing. So even in small towns, we are hearing there's lots of babies are surviving below 28 weeks. Now, when we are doing this, it worries me. The reason for that is that, taking care of a 32, 33 weeks premature and taking care of a 26, 27 weeks premature is not exactly the same thing. So it's not only the thermoregulation. There are a lot of other things, especially the neurodevelopmental care, that we need to take care. Otherwise, it may create long-term damages and the well-being of the baby. So if you really look at the babies, the brain at a 23 weeks, which more or less looks like a golf ball, and whether it is a 40 weeks, is more or less looks like a broccoli. So there are lots of developments happened in the brain during this time. And so it's very important that when we design or when we decide to choose a bed, depending on the gestation period, depending on the type of the baby that we are doing, how we are selecting the bed. It cannot be that one bill fits for all. With that, I will start with a product called warmer. In India, 95% of the bed today are warmer. It's still a debatable topic. Well, if you really look at the global scenarios, there, mainly they talk about when it's a more premature baby, especially less than 30 weeks, it must be an incubator. But today, the reality is that most of the beds in India are warmer. Now, when we select, we really need to look at what basically we are buying. Now, in market, when we buy an air conditioning machine, there are different options available, like 2-star AC versus 5-star AC. Now, if you really look at what is the difference between that, it's a significant reduction of the power consumption, so that superior technology, but the coolants are the same pattern. So that means for a 5-star AC, you spend less on energy consumption, but at the same time, you are actually getting the better output. Similarly, when you are buying a warmer, there are different options available in the market. So some are less than 400 watts, some are less than 600 watts, some are less than 800, and some are less than 1000 watts. This is parameter that we need to look at it when we decide on warmer, depending on the type of the care that we want to give. For example, when the wattage is more, that means it is creating more heat. More heat means more evaporative heat loss. More evaporative heat loss means it's a challenge for the IV fluid management. And whenever there is a challenge in IV fluid management, because it's intravenous, it can create infection issues. So always look for the hello. Can you see
Yeah,
my presentation?
we can see it's in heater weightage, warmer with different heater weightage. That slide is there. Yeah, we can hear your voice.
Can you
Yeah, we can't hear your voice. Yes.
can you see now?
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see. Please go ahead.
So this is the first and most important thing when you choose for a good warmer. The most important thing is that the wattage rating that we should ask. Lesser the wattage, the warmer will be the better because its heat reflector design will be much better. The next one is that the heating element that is used. There are three types of heating elements that's available. One is called cal rod, another is called quartz, and another is called ceramic. Now ceramic is rugged, but at the same time it takes long time to heat up. So time to heat it takes long. So as a result, what happens is that when you are using in a servo mode and when you really need to bring the temperature on the set point, it doesn't perform very well. At the same time, quartz is very good, but its challenge is that it's not that reliable. If you really combine the good qualities of both the heaters, quartz and ceramic, you get cal rod. The cal rod heater comes with lifetime warranty. It does very quick heating. It's metal covered, so very safe and high watt density. So cal rod is the much superior heating element that is available and that we should consider whenever we are deciding for a good quality warmer. This is just a demonstration of how it looks like in 1 minute, 2 minutes, and 4 minutes. If the irradiance is high and the heat distribution is nice, you can see how nicely. So we have used the thermal paper to show that how nicely it's been distributed. Now, two things in this is very important. One is how the heat distribution happens. So this is the IEC guidelines. If you really look at the A, B, C, D point, which are actually the midpoint when you draw a line between M to the corners of this rectangle. And between these points, at any point, the temperature difference should not be more than 2 degrees centigrade versus the temperature at M. So that's the guidelines that we need to see that how when you are buying a warmer, whether it meets that standard. Now, if there is a company who says that we not only do 2 degree, in our case it is less than 1 degree. That means his distribution is even better than that is recommended by IC. So more even heat distribution is better because the baby is not static on the bed. Baby is moving around the bed, and the more heat distribution is very, very nice for the baby. Next point is that high irradiance. If the irradiance is high, it is very good because what happens is that when the baby is in a shock, like if you wanted to take some blood sample or for some other reasons the temperature falls, how quickly the temperature comes to the set temperature. For that, high irradiance comes very healthy. So for a good quality warmer, the irradiance level comes to anything above 25 microwatt per square centimeter. When it is less than 50. So you need to really look at what is a good quality irradiance. Hello, can you see my screen?
Yeah, please go ahead. Thermal distribution and high irradiance.
Yeah,
Now
can
it
you
went.
see my screen?
Yeah, I can see a video, but slide went.
Okay.
And restart.
Come back. Yeah, I'm sorry, no, I don't know if it's happening. Can you see now?
Yes, go ahead.
The next one is that when you are really looking for a very good quality warmer, today the kangaroo care, the family centered care is very important. And there are several studies which shows that it significantly improves the neurodevelopmental care. So you really need to look at that, whether you are having a rotating mattress, 360-degree rotating mattress, whether it's a translating mattress, whether
Mr. Chandan, your voice is frozen.
yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Looks like for whatever reason the network is not working properly. So the kangaroo, in order to have a very good kangaroo care, you need to have the. Let me remove my video. Probably that will help. Let's see. Okay. So to have a good kangaroo care, you need to have a 360 rotating mattress, both side translating mattress. The drawers should be movable so that the parents can come very close to the baby. It should have a very also should be different. For a good quality mattress, it needs to be have the pressure diffusing mattress. So as a result, there should not be any pressure show, and reasons for infection is the long duration of the stay, and their skins are not well developed. So what is the average pressure that the baby gets through this mattress? That's very important. So in this, so we need to see that whether we are having pressure diffusing mattress. The other one is that whether it is a heat seal versus stitch mattress. In case of a heat seal mattress, it ensures that no liquid can go inside and the microorganism cannot grow. In case of a stitch mattress, there are every possibility that the liquid can go penetrate, and then the microorganism can grow, and then it can create challenge for the babies which are admitted later on. So these are the two things that we need to see that whenever we are selecting the mattress. The tilt mechanism, that if you see that it should be a continuous tilting, so there is no jerk, because whenever there is a jerk, it's a pressure and that can create some neurodevelopmental issue. It should be non-touch. Take care whenever you are looking for a tilt mechanism. Whenever you are doing an X-ray procedure, we need to ensure that the X-ray tray can be pulled in and out without disturbing the baby. At the same time, the heater head can be moved 90 degree, and at the same time, the heater should be turned off. All these things we need to take care so that we can have a very good X-ray without disturbing the baby and the caregiver. The last but not the least important, it is actually very important, because for neonatal infection is a very important thing, and we need to ensure that the device that we buy that has a very good design so that all parts can be taken apart very quickly, because if it takes time, people will not clean it. It should be, number of parts should be limited. At the same time, it can be dismantled maybe less than 5 minutes, and it can be cleaned in less than 30 minutes. If the design allows that, and there are no crevices, so that you can utilize all of those angles to clean it very nicely, then you can ensure the sterility of that bed, and for the next admission, the baby can be ensured that the infection care is taken care. So with this, I will end with the different things that you really need to look at whenever you decide for a warmer. The next product is incubator. Whenever you are deciding for a closed care system in incubator, in India, approximately 5% of the beds today are using incubator. The first thing, whenever you are talking about incubator, people use incubator for the most fragile babies. So the babies which are, let's say, less than 30 weeks, people use incubator. So you can understand that the weight will be less than 1000 grams. So it's very important that the various things that we take care. So we will talk about that. The first thing is that the neutral thermal environment, and then how we reduce the different types of stresses, whether it is a touch stress, whether it is a sound stress, whether it is a light stress, whether it is a pressure stress, or whether it is a thermal stress. All these kind of stresses, how we reduce, because whenever there is a stress, what happens is that there can be chances of the brain seizure, and if there is a brain seizure, there are chances of the neurodevelopmental problem that may arise over the time. So we need to minimize those kind of stresses, and how this device can take care of that we really need to see. Now we know about this concept called neutral thermal environment. Each baby or each one of us has a neutral thermal environment range, and we really need to ensure our set temperature is within that, because if it is within that, then our metabolism rates will be on the optimum, and the most of the nutrients that we get, that will be utilized for the growth. Remember, these babies needs, for the more growth, so that the cell development happens for the right reasons. If they spend more energy, then the cell development will be retarded, and it will create neurodevelopmental issue. Now, unlike a warmer where you put the direct heat on the bed and the baby gets heated, in this case, in an incubator, you actually put hot air inside the chamber, and that hot air in the environment that actually hits the baby. So it's a kind of indirect heating. So unless you have a different technology to utilize, there will be a problem. That's what I will try to explain, that you need to ask, like, whether you have a cascade control system versus proportional control, because most of the warmers that we use, or all the warmers that we use, having proportional control. In a proportional control, the set temperature that we do, and it measures the baby's temperature. If there is a difference, then accordingly the heater output is changed. But in case of cascade control, we measure the environmental air temperature, because that's important and that's heating the baby. And depending on that, how the baby's temperature is increasing, depending on that, incrementally that heater output will be changed to control the environmental air temperature. So there is a third parameter apart from the baby's temperature and the set temperature. There is a third parameter, which is the environmental air temperature, that comes into control in a cascade control. The benefit of that is that in a cascade control, in case of the PID controller, what you see is that if you set a 36.5 degrees centigrade, the actual temperature varies between 36 and 37.5 degree up and down. So it's a 1 degree window. In case of a cascade control, because you will be controlling through the environmental temperature, it actually varies plus minus 0.1 degree. So if you set 36.5, it actually varies between 36.4 and 36.6. So it's a 0.2 degree window instead of a 1 degree window. So almost 80% reduction of the temperature variability. Now you remember, for these very, very fragile babies, whenever you set a temperature, you are very particular at 0.1 degree centigrade. You don't set that you set at 36 degree or 37 degree. The doctor says that you set at 36.7 or 37.1. That means you are very particular on 0.1 degree centigrade. So in this case, that's very important that the variability of 1 degree is now changed to 0.2 degrees. So that's the reason the cascade control is very important for any closed care system or incubator, and we should ask that whether the control mechanism that we are having is cascade control or proportional control, because it constitutes a very important part of decision making. Next, as I said, that we need to reduce the touches. As I said, the kangaroo care is also a touch, but it is a touch by the parents, and we call it good touch, and we call it bad touch. So we need to reduce the bad touches. See, normally a premature baby requires to be attended almost like every half an hour. So which is almost like 24 times in a day. So if you consider that so many times there is a chances of touch, and each touch the duration can be different. So total touch time in a day can be significantly high. Now how the design can help to reduce the number of touches. So this 360-degree rotating mattress, translating mattress, hands-free alarm silence, the foot paddle, the canopy lift. So there can be different features which reduces the total number of touches, and also at any point of time whenever you are touching, the total touch time. So as a result, you reduce the touch stress. This is my favorite, how you reduce the sound. Now, if you really notice that the speaker in an incubator where you are putting, that's very important. So I would say that there is one design that we do is that we tried 216 positions, and then we found out that if you really look at the picture, at the bottom of the base and then at a 45-degree angle to the floor. So with the bouncing effect to the floor, all the people in the NICU, they can hear it properly. But on the center of the bed where the baby is, the noise is the minimum. So this is a very, very interesting design that has been achieved after trying the speaker at 216 different positions, and then we have achieved this. Similarly, we have used a very low noise fan, and also we have put the accessories like hood cover, how we can reduce the sound. The next one is that the humidity. Whenever we talk about an incubator, we need to understand that these are very, very fragile babies, and this chart shows that more premature the baby is, and the initial days in the gestational age, this is during this time the fluid loss is the maximum. Because if you really notice that for the first few days the babies lose weight, and because they lose lots of fluid, so they lose fluid, and as a result, it's a challenging for the IV fluid management. One of the ways you can do is that by adding humidity on the atmosphere. Now that comes the biggest challenge. Like for example, when we do the humidity addition, let's say whenever you're using a ventilator, we also do the humidity addition, because normally what happens is that the nose through which the humidity comes, we bypass that and we do the humidity addition through the ventilator, through an humidifier, heated humidifier, but that we do in a moisture form. Now the moisture particles are much, much bigger, and the microorganism can sit on those moisture and can come inside the chamber and can create lots of nuisance. So in earlier days, people stopped using incubator because especially this problem. This actually did more harm than the good things. Lots of humidity issues and the infection issues that created the problem. Now, the technology has helped to create a different technology, which is called the sterile humidity. So in this case, what happens is that the water chamber is preheated to around 55 to 60 degrees centigrade, where most of the microorganisms die. And then after, depending on the humidity level you want to achieve, say 90%, 95%, 60%, it will calculate and it will take the amount of water and then it will vaporize it. So when the humidity comes in a vapor form, the molecules are much, much smaller than in any known microorganism. And even at a temperature of 100 degree, it dies. It cannot carry to the chamber. So what we have done is that, we have done some special tests in this kind of, we have put the most difficult microorganism in the water chamber, and we have tried to find out after 7 days whether anyone can come inside the main environment. And we have found out that it's almost like sterile environment, nothing could come. So this is a very important, like whenever you are giving humidity, how you are giving the humidity, whether you are giving in a moisture form or vapor form. So whenever you are deciding to buy an incubator, you decide on the type of the humidity that we are giving, the type of the design which is reducing thermal stress, light stress, sound stress, touch stress, and pressure stress. And of course, the thermal neutral environment, how you are doing that, the technology that is being used for this, whether it is a cascade control versus a proportional integral differential control. So these are the important things that we need to decide. This talks about the different types of beds and what we normally recommend, that one bed doesn't fit for all. And so if that, depending on the type of the baby that you will be admitting in the NICU, you need to decide of the type of the bed. So for example, if you are having, let's say, 20% of your baby are between, say, greater than 35 weeks, 20% or maybe 30% of the baby between 30 to 35% of the week, then depending on that, you need to decide the number of beds you should choose, what type. So this is in nutshell what I wanted to talk about, how and what are the different things that you need to consider whenever you decide for your warmer and the incubator. Thank you. I had a very bad connection, so probably some of the slides probably you couldn't see well. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chandan. Thank you. I think you will have a lot of questions coming up at the end of the session. We will take up. So now I request Mr. Balamurali Senthil. You can unmute yourself. I can see your name. Yeah. So thank you for accepting the request and being part of our web series. Right. Thank you. So I request you to start the session. So before that, I request you to give a brief introduction to our delegates over here, and then start the session. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. It's a good evening to all. I'm Balamurali Senthil. I'm into manufacturing of healthcare furnitures for the last 10 years. So we have our manufacturing unit in Coimbatore, where we manufacture patient care beds and stretchers for the hospital industry. And today we are going to talk about, like, now you have come out of the new hospital, like how you have to choose the best beds for your hospital. So that would be the topic of the day. And first thing, like whenever I'll go practically, there is no presentation which I'm having, so I'll be talking on to it. And the last, like I prefer to have a lot of questions where I can answer your queries on the choice, how you choose and all these things. Fine. So first thing is like on the hospital thing is like we get into the interior part of it, like building the hospital and making it very user friendly, like everything. We put a lot of importance on the architecture and all that. But at the same time, we need to have a lot of inputs on choosing the right beds for the hospital. So one is like on the hospital bed, if you look at, say there are many choices for you. You can have the manual beds, or now the electric beds are also coming into the play, where you find it in the ICU and all that. But what all the parameters which one has to undergo before choosing a hospital bed? So I'll explain in that detail. So first thing what we need to work on is like, are we getting the beds within India, or are we importing it? Because a lot of whenever we do hospital projects, this particular thing goes into the mind of most of the doctors. Like if we import it out, it might work out 50% of the project cost rather than buying it from India. So this is a thought with a lot of hospital owners had. So my take would be like, now earlier days, yes, there were not many manufacturers in India, but now there are plenty good number of manufacturers who are producing as per the international standards in India. And the price wise, what you get in India would also be equivalently better value. At the same time, the service point is also very good, because a lot of hospitals, what they have done is like they have imported it out from China, and the kind of the life of the equipment. Generally, it is basically lesser, and the spare parts, getting the spare parts and making it perfect also has a lot of additional cost involved in that. So in that fashion, like if you really say buy it in India, you have the one is the value, as well as the spare support is also there within India, and this is available now. So it would be better to choose from an Indian manufacturer. But what all the parameters we have to choose if you look for the Indian manufacturers? So one is they have to have a lot of quality system in them, and they have to have the ISO 13485, which is a medical device certified manufacturing thing they should have, so that they have the inbuilt quality system in that. And then they also have to have a standards, like they can today good quality manufacturers, they also have a CE mark standards, which is a globally recognized standards are available today. So one is equally competent, equally good quality of products are available in India today. So you can very well buy it today from India. So that is the major part of it. And while choosing the manufacturers, like one is the better way is to one is see the products, because many products are there in the market, but choosing the kind of a right product for you would be the most important aspect. Say one is like your architecture is there, your color, your schemes are there. You can choose a right combination of colors for your hospital, because in the beds we have the facility to have the head and the leg end boards as per your interior colors. It can match very well with that. So that is one thing which you can look for in the color scheme as far as the beds and the bedside lockers and the overbed tables. So you can have a combination of colors which will match to your interior, so that it looks very pleasant and things like that. So that is one area. And the other area is like the most important aspect is the powder coating, which is the one which will speak of the quality of the product. Because we need to do a kind of an 8-tank pre-treatment process, which is called an epoxy powder coating process. So when we have that, then the life of the product is also good. So we need to ensure that the manufacturers has all in-house facility of doing the manufacturing as well as powder coating. If they really outsource that, the quality may not be that guaranteed. So you have to find out whether the manufacturers has the quality standards, and then they have the in-house facility of manufacturing as well as the powder coating is concerned. So you are guaranteed of the products. So generally on a powder coating, they do around 70 to 80 microns is what the perfect ones for the furnitures, hospital furnitures. So a lot of people tend to negotiate and things like that, and a lot of companies they compensate the cost with the powder coating, because this is the one which takes more cost for the product apart from the raw material. So the powder coating, we need to ensure that it is being done with an 8-tank pre-treatment process. It has a pre-treatment process of around 8 tanks, where every process like degreasing, everything passivation, everything goes in an 8-tank process. If we do 8-tank, then the quality of the product is assured. It will not rust, and there will be the powder bonding on the product will also be very good, and it will work for years without much rusting or without any peeling off and all that. So that is very, very important. And I've seen a lot of other manufacturers tend to do away with that kind of an 8-tank or process. They do just 2 tanks or 1 tank and then start doing it. If that is the case, then the cost of the product will also come down, but the quality also comes down. So we have to be very sure that whenever you buy a hospital furniture, you have to very clearly mention that it has to have a 8-tank pre-treatment process. has to be done on the powder coating. This you insist on any manufacturers. So if they do it, then you have a very quality product for you. And then other things is like three things are very important on the product. One is your how much care is being given to the product design, and then how much of a safety is being inbuilt onto the product, and how much of a comfort does it deliver to the patients. So these are the three aspects which we have to look at in any product. So one is the design part of it. Say all the products which you buy should have a kind of a design element which would be very comfortable for the doctors as well as for the patient. So this is very, very important. So the edges should not be sharp. It should be curved so that it doesn't harm any patient or to the doctor sometimes also. So edges has to be a kind of a curvature should be there. And all these aspects on the safety sides, on the side rails, especially on the side rails, we have to have a lot of safety factor inbuilt in that, because somebody should not put their hands out and it should not collapse down automatically. So that is very important. And then on the comfort wise, like you need to, the earlier speaker spoke about the mattress and all that. You need to be very sure that you have a kind of a 40 density, 36 to 40 density kind of a mattress, which would be very comfortable for the patients. So this care, comfort, and the safety, all the three things has to be looked into in any product which you are buying from the market. So you have to ensure those things. And then how much of a utility does the manufacturer offer? Because somebody who has got a knowledge on these products, they can deliver so much of a value to his clients. So we need to find out, like when you choose a product, like it should not be bulky, it should not try to utilize more space, but at the same time it should try to deliver a lot of utility value to you. So today it's like a lot of modular furnitures have come in, like in case of your examination, there are examination tables which has come on the market where you could able to raise the height of the table very comfortably. Say for it would be a win-win situation for the doctors as well as for the patients, because you can make them easily take their examination, just step in and sit on the examination table, and you can raise it to your level and you can comfortably do it. So this gives a kind of a good feeling for the patients, because already they are in distress. And when we ask them to climb it on the footstep and then climb it on the examination table, instead of all this, you can avoid by having a height adjustable examination table. So as well as for the doctors also, it becomes very comfortable because you can raise it to your level, comfort level, and then examine the patients. So these types of small things has a lot of value, particularly when you look at the examination tables, like it because it can relieve a lot of your stress, because every time you get up and start examining the patients, there is a kind of a thing, whereas you can just come nearer to the patient and raise it to your level and be comfortable examining, and then the patient can also step out very comfortably from the examination table. So that are very, very important. And as far as the most important utility factor is your, apart from the beds I'm just talking, and I'll come on to the beds in the final stages, like you can have to have a very good stretchers and the wheelchairs, because these are the products which gets moved into the hospitals, moved into the wards, moved into the other areas. So choosing a kind of a good stretcher and a good wheelchair is also very, very, very important. And today the market, you have a lot of good stretchers which is a height adjustable, instead of having a kind of a stretcher which is a fixed height. You can have a stretcher with a height adjustment. So what happens, you can literally come take the patients very comfortably, and you can match the height of the bed, and you can transfer the patient using a shifter without much ease. You can very comfortably do that. So these stretchers are today very, very, very useful, where you can adjust the height and transfer them very comfortably. And the wheelchairs also, excellent wheelchairs are today available, at a very good price point, where it works like the seats, the seat material, instead of a cloth and all that, today it has come with a nylon padding where it will not sag after some time. So it is very comfortably available today. And the armrest of the wheelchairs can also be lifted, wherein once you lift it, again, transferring them to the bed becomes very easier. So a lot of accessories are there today, where you transfer the patient and comfortably transfer them to your beds. So these patient shifters you would have seen, it instead of lifting the patient, generally what they do from the wheelchair or the stretcher, they try to lift the patients and put them onto the bed. So here you have shifters where instead of lifting the patients, you can just slide the patient and make them comfortably come onto the bed. So these are the small things, but it adds a lot of value to the hospital as well as to the patient. And coming to the beds, for an ICU today, you have electric beds today available. Earlier, the electric beds were very costlier, and they were all, most of the high-end beds are imported. But today you have very good quality manufacturing being done in India with a good price point. So the quality of the bed, you will get an international standards in the, even with the Indian manufacturers, and it can give you more affordability, so that in the ICUs you can have electric beds. And on the hospital wards today, you can also choose, because a lot of hospitals today, earlier they were choosing the backrest bed and the Fowler bed. Today most of the hospital wards, they are trying to have 3 functional beds. One is an height adjustment, and the backrest and the leg rest. So this is also very important for the future. Like you can have a 3 function bed for the general wards and the private rooms, and for the ICUs you can have the electrical bed. So this is how the future is going towards the bed. And the choosing, you have to have this care, comfort and safety, all the 3 aspects. You look into any manufacturers and then see their products before buying, have a feel of the products, and then have a feel of their factory, have the feel of the quality systems and what they are currently have, and what kind of a customers have they have serviced with their products. Because somebody who has got a good association with a lot of things, they have a very good quality standards built in, rather than choosing somebody who has just come in the market, does it. So they may not be of standards. So somebody who has done a standards and who have kept the standards in the hospitals. So this would be the right combination to choose the right manufacturer or a right supplier for your products. And you can directly today, earlier it all used to come through the channels. Today you have quite a good manufacturers, where if you attach with the manufacturers directly, then you have a better support as far as the spares, as far as the service. You will have a better support. And whenever you want to upgrade to an electric or all that, will be of a help when you have a direct contacts with the manufacturers. It can be through the channels, but have a contact directly with the manufacturers. So that will be really helpful for you for your hospital projects. So this is about my presentation. Like, and any questions I would be able to take on the hospital beds. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Balamurali. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for the talk. I'm sure you will also have a lot of questions. That is the feedback that you've got now. So we will take up the question at the end of the session. So now we will move on to the next topic. So I request Mr. Raghavendra B to speak on the air conditioning system, OT doors, and hospital wall paneling, how to choose the parameter to look into. So, Mr. Raghavendra?
Very good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Please, over to you, over to you. Please start the session. I request you to give a brief introduction to our audience and then start the session.
Yes.
Prashant? Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raghavendra is not there?
Yeah, we are. I am here, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we can see your presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Sir,
Hello.
Hello, sir. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yeah, yeah. Slides is also
from Latur.
you are audible. Please go ahead.
Sir, our presentation is
The paid person, I think his name.
Yes, yes. Slides is also visible. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Raghavendra here from Wintech team, Bangalore. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Please start the session. Please start the session.
Sir, Wintech was established during the year 2008. It was formed to meet identified need in marketplace for a specialist company to provide a quality fit for purpose air quality engineer service to the targeted industries at affordable costs. The service provided covers the area of design, build, commissioning and validation of turnkey projects like HVAC, clean room partitions, electrical automation and other allied services. Wintech is partnered with Air One Source for specific solutions, especially in the area of portable ionizers. And we are the team in Bangalore who creates innovation. And one of our technical director will take over from here, sir. Mr. Mohan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mohan. I am the director in this combined venture of Wintech and Air One Source. Today I have my other colleague, Mr. Ramesh, who is a veteran of everything about air. So, we will take you through various aspects of contamination, surgical site infection, indoor air quality, and allied areas of the requirement, especially in today's scenario, the contamination control concepts, the operation theater and the air conditioning and the HVAC requirements there, the neonatal, IVF and labs, the specificity of contamination control there, and the ICUs and the entire HVAC for any existing healthcare setups or for anything coming up new, and our specialization and also the requirement in today's scenario, like the newer technologies which have taken over in the various parts of the world, like silver ion technology, needle point bipolar ionization, and our specific equipment which we have designed, which is a import substitute and a very unique product called Tri-Airpod. So I have my colleague Mr. Ramesh, who will take the technical aspects of contamination forward.
Good evening to all the doctors and the people. Thanks for giving us a very good platform, and thanks to Dr. Dinakar from Vamshodaya Hospital, Polar. So, first, let us go from the basic levels. Like, let us first understand what is the contamination. So, in brief, the impurities, particulate matters, microorganisms, endotoxins, degraded microorganisms, all this constitutes as a contamination to the facility. And where does this come from? The focus will be more on the outside air, where the total dust levels, particles, bacteria, viruses, all this come into the outside fresh air, which actually has to be treated in a very precise and a proper way. Now, movement of the people who are walking definitely liberate more bacteria, that is 5,000 bacteria per minute as per records. And all the interactions generate contaminants, paint off equipments, dust, belt drives, surgical equipment, wear and tear, surgical wastes. The concern about dust and contaminants there, it's very, very small. So let us talk about 1 million. Hello? We are audible? Hello?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So we've tried to take out the records of viruses, bacteria, and dust particles which are present, and sized it to actually make people and all the people understand. So this is the levels of virus, 0.006 microns to 0.03 microns, bacteria 2 micron, dust particle 0.5, 500 microns, 5 microns. So all these are the sizes of the bacteria, dust particles in the viruses which are present across us. And the main surgical site infections, what do we mean by this? This is the second to third most common site of the healthcare associated infections actually. These complications are from the external areas, and during the movement inside the procedure when it is done, and all the pathogens flow. If there is no proper pressure cascading in terms of air, then the movement itself starts and it penetrates into the core areas. And this is the cycle. How does it transmit? So let us talk about hosts, places of entry, modes of transmission, places of exits, reservoirs. All these movements causes us infectious agents, microorganisms such as bacteria and viruses. The most important factor in the hospital is how do we eliminate sick building syndrome. So this is eliminated in terms of having a proper indoor air quality. So how do we actually categorize the indoor air quality? So categories are this: primary and secondary. Air temperature and humidity is an important factor. Air pressure in terms of creating cascades of zoning. The velocity, bacteria and fungal count, moisture intrusion and condensation due to the equipment of the air conditioning systems. Then the main Legionella bacteria count in the cooling coil. Now, coming to the secondary part of it, the volatile organic compound, total volatile organic compound plays a major role in the neonatal NICUs. So, how do we eliminate this? Particle count, right from 0.5 micron to 5 micron to be controlled. Formaldehyde, air duct inspection, ventilation filter inspection, ozone has to be eliminated. Carbon dioxide and monoxide in the proper levels, acceptable levels has to be. Then indoor sound, light, vibration levels. So, airflow mapping concepts becomes one of the very important factor in terms of saving the recurring costs and the initial costs also on the air conditioning systems. So what do we mean by airflow mapping concepts? Horizontal flow is a kind of flow for the air. Vertical flow, product protection through air transmissions, personal environmental protection. All these three criteria will be by the flow pattern of the air. An example to say, rather than cooling the peripheral areas in the hospitals, if we target the people or the product or wherever cleanliness is required, so the costing over the air conditioning systems comes down by having an actual draft of air which is thrown over the product of the people. Now, this positive pressure cascading exists in the major hospitals in terms of air. Initially, let's talk about outdoor environment. Then when we enter in, it's called ancillary areas for us. Then it comes to my ancillary areas. We have to definitely maintain slight positive pressure with some hygiene filtration, where we dilute the infections and the particles from this level of the area. Air, along with the air, the zoning, the pressure, and the layout also plays a major role in the initial cost of the machines and the recurring cost of the machines. Apart from the hygiene class, the next cascade in the hospital is going to be semi-sterile zone with a definite proper positive pressure. We talk about 15 to 20 pascals. And once this pressure cascading is done, we need to go into the sterile zone. The sterile zone is again like from 20 to 30 pascals. This kind of zoning helps us to sweep. We make the air scavenge the total area completely in terms of highest pressure to the lowest pressure. So, which will be the highest pressure as far as OT, NICU, ICU, and all other critical cubicles and areas. The flow of the people, the flow of the patient, the flow of waste becomes one of the important factors also along with it. So that by practicing a proper protocol, it has an impact over reduction of the recurring cost. If practically we don't follow a protocol set, then our electricity consumption increases because we put lot on the system, where we feel the system will completely take care, and if protocol is not maintained properly, definitely system is going to take care. But the problem is, it is about the consumption of the electricity. Now, negative pressure cascading for isolation and infection prone areas. So this is definitely important subject, because negative pressure zone for isolation areas are not being properly concentrated and zoned. So every isolation area or any infected areas will have air handlers, and these air handlers selection of the filtration and the cooling part of it, because the cooling also, the coils which is used to cool the area is also with a bioburden. So all these areas has to be properly adapted, cleaned, and all the ionizers should be in place. Coming to operation theaters and air conditioning cleansing systems, laminar flow stations, which universally everybody knows in the operation theaters. So there are many kinds of it. So actually having a proper survey over the hospital, then the flow of air has to be decided. It cannot be like a thumb rule. We have a station, laminar flow station, with a definite air changes per hour, and it has been taken back. It is not the case altogether. There should be a proper airflow pattern which has to be maintained, because air has to sweep the particles across the peripheral areas. Then it has to be taken out. And when laminar flow stations provide 90 to 120 FPM of the velocity, the risers, whatever we install. Generally, what happens is like we go with 4 risers, corner risers in the operation theaters. So the airflow pattern is with the highest velocities at the bottom. So the turbulence is created on the top where the air is not going to be laminar. So this is not most of the hospitals this is not observed. And to avoid that, this is called laminar downflow with air curtain. Air curtain, in sense, it is not the air curtain which is used regularly, front of the hospitals or any other required places. This is a pressure creating curtain with HEPA where it eliminates internal activity with the external peripheral activity. So apart from laminar flow, we have other 2 more filters, HEPA or ULPA, which is going to eliminate the turbulency which is created by a single flow, which we had seen previously. The next part of it, the operation theater envelope. Envelope plays a major role. Let's talk about constructing our operation theater with puff panels. What is puff panel? Puff panels are the panels which are powder coated, sandwiched between puff, which have density of 40 kg per meter cube. And it's a good insulator, which saves a lot of power for us, as we have to work out both on initial and recurring costs whenever we design a system. And the impact load also, it takes care. The main advantage of it is you have bottom extracts where all the ducts are inbuilt inside the puff panels, and we extract all the dust by sweeping, creating a pressure cascading. These are some of the schematics which is followed across the globe. This is recirculation system where we take 10% of fresh air. Then this is the system of air handler schematic. It's a air handling unit where we take 10% of fresh air, mix it with the air which has been extracted from the OT. Then we have EU3 filter. That is in slang, it is pre-filter before the coil. The coil. Hello?
मनीषा
हाँ क्या हाल है? बस ठीक हूँ, तू बता। बस क्या
Prashant.
Muted, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So cooling coil, we have blowers where it takes the air from the OT, filters it, cools it, again sends it the air to the operation theater with next course of filtration, that is microwave filters, which we call 1 micron. Then the air comes to the laminar flow station. HEPA filters are fit in the terminal, and the ULPA filters nowadays, due to transition in the infection, ULPA filters are used due to it can arrest up to 0.15 micron particles, and it has been recorded that coronavirus is 0.2 micrometer. This is one of the very efficient system, but it is 100% fresh air and 100% exhaust. All the parameters which we fear of can be negligible if we adapt this kind of a system. But this surely increases our recurring cost. So here it goes. We have a pre-filter initially in the system, then we have microwave filter, then again we cool, again we have a blower, we have a heating coil. Heating coil plays a role to subside the RH levels, then comes to the OT, then we have an exhaust blower, then it is filtered, then it is again thrown out to the ambient. Now, when we adapt this kind of a, how do we arrest the recurring loss? Increase in the fresh air. When we select fresh air system, the normal recirculation system tonnage will be 3 times due to higher temperatures are continuously pumped into the area which has to be cooled. So how do we handle it? And how do having 100% fresh air and 100% exhaust, and how do we reduce our recurring cost? How do we don't waste our energy or the enthalpy which is pumped in and which is completely thrown out? So let's have a case study like when we talk about 4000 CFM and we have around 8.5 ton in the recirculation system. The same in the fresh air goes to be 15 tons and all the 15 tons are evacuated completely. So we waste a lot of energy. So we need something best system, but the same we need to work on the how do we avoid bigger recurring cost involved. So here it goes. We have a blower, exhaust blower, where the air is taken, and between exhaust blower and the supply blower, we have a wheel called energy wheel or the enthalpy wheel or the heat recovery wheel. So what it does is, whatever air is being picked from the operation theaters, ICUs or isolation areas, it takes out the energy enthalpy from the return air, and when it comes down at the bottom, the energy is again transferred to the fresh air. So 70% practically can be definitely energy can be conserved. So 30% will be the wasted on the energy. But this gives us a complete free and controlled environment which can definitely fear psychosis can be eliminated from the people. So it's air cleanliness classifications across the globe followed. We have compared European classes and US classes. So all this classification is as per JCI, HTM and NABH. So these are the particles which has to be maintained in a controlled environment as per the classification. So when we talk about laminar flow station in a OT, the bottom of it, the particle should be lesser than 100. We are talking about 0.5 micron particle. Then coming to the working area, the particles can be around 10,000. And coming to the peripheral area, particles can be around 10,000 and 1 lakh particles. And filtration stages, pre-filtration, initial filtration is called pre-filtration, secondary and final filtration, which is HEPA or ULPA, and all the other parameters like 99.997% of 0.3 micron can be controlled. And all the surface can be coated with silver ion. It can be silver ion paint, it can be silver ion powder coating, it can be silver ion flooring.
That removes the complete bio.
Yeah. So neonatal and intensive care units, important subject on the cleanliness part. So we have to concentrate, or we have to look into the VOC levels which is produced by using what kind of construction materials used, because civil walls has particular VOC levels which generates, light generates VOC levels, and how do we reduce odorous gases if it is existing in the area. Then definitely particulate matter becomes an important factor. How do we reduce particulate matter? Because particulate matter is the carrier of bacteria and viruses. how do we handle all the issues related to air and neonatal envelope and air parameters, intact filtration and air conditioning systems. Like, to give an example, it is AHU with HEPA filters. It's one of its kind. VRF systems with ionizers. So at the end, like we will be discussing about ionizers and silver ion technology. Usage of VOC-free building materials is one of the important factor in constructing the envelope, neonatal envelope. And odorous gases elimination, portable HEPA-ULPA filtration systems, antimicrobial flooring. ICUs, again, as all the veterans in the industry knows about level 1, level 2 and level 3 ICUs. So all the ICUs with a different level have different zoning and scavenging systems of air. So level 1 can be considered as semi-sterile and having a class called hygiene class. Coming to level 2, it has to be ISO 7, which is class 10,000 as per US 209E. And level 3 is intensive, and this has to be between class 1000 and 10,000 in terms of filtration, and in terms of the temperature and relative humidity parameters, it should not exceed more than 24 to 25, and the RH level has to be maintained intactly below 55 to 60%. Now,
so the ICUs, basically the indoor air quality control measures are of utmost importance. See, we know majority of the smaller and medium hospitals, due to various reasons, which can also include budgets and things like that, normally end up not having filtration systems. So this not having filtration systems is one of the major reason. I should not say in this forum, but this is a fact and a reality. Is a major reason for cross contamination and cross infection. So that there are a lot of equipment, portable equipment, which has evolved in the world. Very low cost technologies which are highly efficient, which have come up, which the medical fraternity has still not started taking it, but it is available across the globe and even in India for hospitals, existing hospitals or future hospitals, to control the cost, at the same time ensure that the filtration systems are proper. The number of air changes in the even SME or small and medium hospitals, even the number of air changes per hour are completely taken care of. At least 15, 20, 25 air changes per hour can be taken care of even as a retrofitment. So there are a lot of equipment which has come up. Even the epoxy floorings, what can be done, have come with antimicrobial coating, both on the synthetic antimicrobial coatings as well as on the silver ion based technologies. So it is time the medical fraternity adapts innovative technologies which have been developed in the last 15-20 years, which are still taking time to actually get into the system. Then I'll come to the hospital air conditioning, the complete HVAC systems, where various methodologies are taken up depending on the size of the hospitals and the size of the air conditioning requirement. So we have chilled water air conditioning systems. We have variable refrigerant flow, which is again energy saving. The regular conventional air conditioning system is what we adapt. We have a split air conditioners. We have ductable systems with condensers on the outdoor, and you have the diffusers on the indoor systems. In huge common areas, evaporative cooling systems can be included. And in the last 15-20 years, hybrid systems have evolved in a big way. That means using combination of the above
to reduce the Initial
to reduce both the capital cost and the recurring costs also.
Small introduction.
So, what are the cost-effective strategies? How do we reduce our cost when we are designing any kind of air conditioning system for the hospitals? So, one is, appropriate layout design is of utmost importance. Identifying the right cooling technologies and using hybrid systems, and also using proper construction material which will reduce your recurring cost, like puff panels and honeycomb doors. All these things will reduce the recurring cost of through energy, and also recurring cost in regularly using antimicrobial paint or things like that is completely reduced in most of the areas. Yeah, reduction of operating costs. So here, if you maintain proper RH levels, relative humidity levels, then the operational costs are reduced.
Relative humidity, lowering the relative humidity levels leads us to the increase in a comfort level, and a proper air draft over people, lowering down the relative humidity levels by slightly increasing the temperatures will definitely lead us to reduction of operating cost. And preventive maintenance is an important part. Usage of automation due to human errors, which is we feel negligible, but it adds on lot of recurring cost. So automation usage slightly will definitely reduce our operating cost.
And coming to one of the latest technologies, what is being used across the globe, especially in the healthcare industry, the silver ion embedded wall panels to including the flooring, that eliminates major part of the bioburden, which currently the surface contamination and the bioburden, which is currently not viewed seriously. So this silver ion technology is one such technology which can be used in the form of a paint, or it can be used in the form of a powder coating, or it can be used in the form of any kind of additive to a plasticine. So you have various kinds of materials. Your puff panels itself can be silver ion coated. You can have your plasticine or the PVC wall panels, which can be coated with this, or it can be embedded in this, and it can be used. And the major bioburden is completely eliminated here. And one more innovative technology which has come in. See, all of us have heard of ionizers. It has been ionizers and air filters and air purification systems have been there for many decades. But the issue has been that the reason why air filters and ionizers were not used in general areas, especially in the healthcare, was because of the generation of ozone which was happening in normal ionizers which are being used. All these smaller cost ionizers which we just fit in the houses or in our OPDs kind of scenario, they sometimes, or in most of the scenarios, they generate ozone. So we all know sustained exposure to ozone is again carcinogenic in nature. So last few years, there has been a lot of focus on development of patented ionization methodologies, which is like cold plasma kind of scenario, where the ozone generation is zero. Ozone generation is practically zero. So there is no ozone generation, and that particular technology is called as needle point bipolar technology, ionization technology, which generates, when we use it in our air handling systems, or when we use it in our ductable systems, it generates millions of negative ions and partially positive ions, which kill the viruses and the bacteria which are actually being carried by the particulate matter in the air. So this is one low cost technology which can be used to utmost. It has got utmost efficiency, and it is relatively low cost. It is very non-invasive in nature. This can be included into your existing HVAC and air handling systems also. So there are 5 or 6 companies across the globe, like Global Plasma Systems, Plasma Air, and a few other companies which have this patented technology. Now even the aviation industry has approved it. Even in the aviation industry, it's being used. The National Health Service in UK, the CDC in US, all these major players have approved this, and all the major labs have tested it, and the efficiency has been proven to the maximum extent. For example, the MRSA is a major issue. Methicillin resistant MRSA is a major issue. E. coli is a major issue. So this, the bipolar ionization, when it is used in the existing air handling systems, completely eliminates. In fact, in a 30-minute exposure, from a cold boot condition in a 30-minute exposure, the MRSA is reduced by 96%. So similarly, even this technology has been tested by major global labs, and including by the Spanish government, by the Italian government on COVID, on COVID-19, and the efficiency of this bipolar ionization has been proven to the extent of around 96%. In the indoor air quality, when the surrogates have been used, like bacteriophages, so the surrogates have reduced by around 96% in around 22 minutes.
So this is used in the Vamshodaya hospital.
Yeah, this particular technology is currently being implemented in the Vamshodaya hospital in Kolar, and many other places we have already implemented. Now, coming to one of the methodologies of a non-invasive air handling system, we have this patented product called Tri-Air Pod, which is like a portable 250-liter refrigerator, which acts as a positive pressurization system, a negative pressurization system, and a recirculation system. So, for example, an existing ICU is there. Existing ICU just has 2 or 3 split air conditioners, so there is no air purification system available there. So in that scenario, this particular equipment, depending on the size, can be, maybe 1 or 2 equipment can be placed within the ICU, and this ensures that it provides 25 air changes per hour. That means, as per WHO CDC standards, it provides around 25 or more air changes. Yeah, for around 400 to 500 square feet, this machine provides around 20-25 air changes per hour. This, we are using a ULPA filtration system. That means until 0.15 micron, it has got the filtration capability. That is down to 99.9997. So this equipment also uses the needle point bipolar ionization on the supply side. That means on the fresh air the side, or on the return. Once the filtration happens on the recirculation side, the needle point bipolar ionizer is used. So the surface contaminants also will be eliminated to the majority of the extent in an existing ICU. The same can be utilized. In fact, a lot of dental clinics, ENT surgeons, ENT departments, they are all already using it, because today we cannot go for an invasive kind of, again, breaking your false ceilings and using, implementing new ducting systems, outdoor air handling systems, and all probably cannot be, we probably cannot afford. So this is one such equipment which can be used as a retrofitment to solve all these problems and to provide the maximum air filtration as possible. So with this, I would like to end our presentation, and I thank all of you for having provided us an opportunity to discuss it. Thank you.
Prashant?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Excellent talk. We will take the questions later. Now we'll go to the next talk. Excellent talk. Okay.
I request Mr. Neelesh.
Neelesh.
Hello.
I request Ganesh.
Yeah, so good evening, Mr. Neelesh. Thanks for accepting to speak on this topic. I know because your last topic was, you're a hands-on person and your last topic was a big hit. So the organizers requested that, we need to have an hands-on person for this topic. So just for introduction, Neelesh is a well-known friend and he was my colleague in GE for many years. And then he moved on to head procurement for Jupiter Hospitals. He has done several 500-bed hospitals and recently bringing up one more in Indore. And he was very busy last week, completing that. And during that time, I just pulled him and I requested him to, help with this topic. He just reached Bombay, I think yesterday night or today morning, and he's consented to speak for us. I think one of the biggest, benefits that we'll have hearing Neelesh is his complete hands-on approach and practical approach, and most importantly, he will make sure that we don't miss anything. So I think this will be a huge learning experience. Thanks, Neelesh, for joining, and thanks to the organizers for Dr. Prashant and Dr. Dinkar for hosting this meeting. Over to you, Neelesh.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank organizer for giving me this opportunity again. So I'm going to cover a topic which is planning, procurement and maintenance of transformer, diesel generator and UPS. So before going to that, I would like to give some basic idea that when we build up any hospital, okay, like as Mr. Ganesh Prasad told that I'm having hands-on experience. Yes, because I'm founder member of Jupiter Hospital Group. So all 400 bedded 3 hospitals. I was really having a hands-on experience on everything. I'm not a consultant, but at the same time, because of this hands-on experience and with the experience of the first hospital, now I know how to do all these things. And it becomes easy for us when we are dealing with our consultant. Lot of inputs come from the hospital end also. Okay. Now, first thing when we develop some hospital, the first thing which comes in mind when someone is there, what should be the electrical load for this hospital? Whether it's 50-bed hospital or maybe a hospital like us, which is 400 bed or more than that. The first question which always comes, what should be the electrical load calculation we need to consider? Now, for doing that, if you go through this power demand, because there are certain things where we need to take into consideration, that is called a design basis report, which always made. Now, if you see here, okay, you can see here lighting small and lighting and small power. So these are the description. Okay, these are connected load. Now, in hospital industry, very, very important is that whatever your connected load and whatever is the maximum demand, there is a huge diversity. So don't get worried that if you see there lighting, air conditioning, ventilation, medical equipment, just see here medical equipment. I'm a hardcore medical equipment person who has installed CT MRI because I was part of GE. So I installed CT MRI cath lab myself. So I know what is the meaning of connected load and what is the demand load. So here if you see here, it is very, very surprising that if you're saying 1045 is the connected load for our, this is a calculation I did for my Pune hospital. But maximum demand is only 350. Just believe that only 35. So much of diversity is there. You can see here, if you go in this way, all the equipment, fire pump, CSD, medical gas power. So power requirement is 3085 kilowatt, and against that the demand is 1674. So if I say that at simultaneous, how much will be the demand? So demand is coming, if I consider that only 1365 kVA. So see that earlier it was 3085. It has come to 1365. So kVA. So this is what is the important thing to be considered in any hospital planning is the diversity of the load. So connected load and the load which will get used There is a huge difference is there. This connected load, we need to use it when we are applying for the electricity load. So this is required for connected load, but in actuality, your all kV and everything calculation will come from here, and on this basis only you have to design your own transformer DG. Now moving to the next slide. Now, as we said that there are three components are there. One is that medical equipment load. If you see here medical equipment load, I will try to zoom it so that you will get idea. Now, what we have done, medical equipment load. These are all the equipments what are going to come in your hospital. So we have jotted down all these equipments. And if I consider this is the load which is given by all the vendors who are going to supply you MRI or CT mammography, all the equipment, they will give the connected load. But don't get panic because of this load itself is coming somewhere 1045. So how much we have to use transformer, how much we have to use DG, don't worry at all, because all these loads are whenever they are doing scanning for that much time only, certain for a few seconds, few minutes only that much load has been taken. Otherwise the diversity is too much. You are saying that 1045 is in diversity, it is less. It is coming to be around 350. So moving to the next part now, when you are saying medical equipment load, the second load is that very, very important is the heat load sheet. Heat load sheet, it was earlier discussed that we need to find out whenever we have to find a heat load means what is the load which will be taken for the air conditioning load which we need to calculate. For that, this is the heat load sheet. I will zoom it so you will get idea. So this is, you need to do it in this way. First thing is that lower area, height of that area, volume of that cubic meter, what is the tonnage will come, what will the CFA will come, what will it should be the pressure in that area, what will be the working hours, and how many people are going to be there in that area. So if you see here, this is like we are having ground floor. So there is a radiology here. Then there is a health checkup is there. First floor is OPD. Similarly, on second floor, if you see that there is a blood bank pathology. So these are things you need to take into consideration. Okay, now again I will zoom it, you will get, now here we come second, third floor where all these ICUs are there. When I'm saying all OTs are there, so here also main OT complex is there. So if you see here, now this is the height, 13.12 is the height, this is a without false ceiling. False ceiling is always there on 10 feet. Normally everyone put minimum 9 feet, but we prefer 10 feet, but the real height size is 13.32. Now we have to see the what is CFM, what we are doing, what is the fresh air, what we are going to consider, what is the air changes, what we need to do, and what are the how many people will be there inside OT. These are all these things are very, very important before designing that, and this is will only give you the proper result. If there is some mistake happens, then what every time you have to suffer with this energy calculation. So now moving ahead. Now the next point which is there, which has always been talked about, is single line diagram. You might have heard whenever the hospital, any electrical consultant comes, he always talk about single line diagram. So what is meaning of single line diagram? Single line diagram is that from where the energy is going to come. Like in Maharashtra, we are having Maharashtra State Electricity Board or Tata or Adani, they are giving a supply. So we need to find out how it flows from here. Like this is a metering room, then from metering room it goes down. Then there are two sources are there. Then two sources goes to the transformer. From transformer it comes to the main voltage MV panel. From there it gets distributed to electrical panels. Then there is a DG is available and UPS also available. So all these things which we need to take into consideration. For that, first thing is that single line diagram. This is very much important thing to be done. Now once we have done SLD, along with that we need to also do the planning of services where we are going to install these machines. Now here we are having a DG room which is inside. This is in the lower basement. This is the area where we are having chiller plant. If you see, this is the panel room. This is UPS room. These are transformer room. Now this transformer room is dry type transformer room. That is why it is there inside the building. If it have been oil type, then it has to be there outside the building. That we will discuss later on. This is ST panel room. So how the flow happens? So flow happens that if there is a electricity, if it is coming somewhere, in our case it is here, from here the cable comes from here to HT panel room, from there it goes to transformer room, from transformer room it goes to panel room, from panel room it goes to either UPS, and from UPS to all the medical equipments. From here panel it goes to chiller, and from chiller it goes to all AHUs, and as well as all there is a chiller and AHU panel is there. From there it goes to chiller and AHU and HVAC system, and this is DigiRoom. This is the backup for entire electricity. So this is basically a layout planning of the services. We will move ahead. Okay. So first thing, as I told you, where the first equipment comes, this is like in Maharashtra, I say Maharashtra State Electricity Board, it is a metering panel. It is always outside. It should be in such a way that the MSCB people or maybe electricity distribution people, they should able to come at any time and they can able to take the metering. So it has to be there outside the campus. Means inside our own area, but it should not be inside the building, but it should be outside the building. So this is what is there, where power comes first. Then it goes to high tension panel. The way I am showed you, HT panel. This is outgoing. We are having two incomer. So these are two incomer. From here it goes out. This is a bus coupler. This is 22 kVA incomer. So everyone having a different option, 22 kVA or 33 kVA. So these are depends on the area where you are going to build a hospital. Moving ahead, this is transformer. The first thing which is come after HT panel is goes to transformer. So transformer, as we discussed, there is a dry type and oil type. So what is meaning of dry type? What are the advantage of dry type or oil type? What are advantage of both things? We need to discuss ahead. So this is a transformer. These are pictures which are there from our Jupiter Hospital, Pune, which we have taken just now. Now transformer. Transformer is a common and useful device where the high voltage electricity directly comes from power station and convert into low voltage. So if you see here, there are two types, dry type and oil type. Now, if you see there, because dry type is always, there is an advantage that you can fit it there inside the campus, because what happens that if you do not have a huge plot and your building size is just enough to just take care of 9-meter periphery outside the building where fire tender has to move, then you cannot put any other medical, all these services on the outside. So you do not have any option. So most time, at least in Mumbai, because plot size is a difficult problem. So every time the dry type transformer has been taken, because the advantage is that we can put it inside the basement area. And okay, the cost wise, if you see that dry type is costlier. If you see the 2 MVA transformer, then it costs maybe 20 to 24 lakhs. Against that, oil will somewhere around 16 to 17 lakhs. But if you see from the safety point of view, definitely dry is having real advantage over the oil one. Because if you see here, the cooling medium, this is very, very important, because whenever transformer is there, it will always become overheating, because whenever it goes to give power, it's overheating. So there is a potential of fire explosion hazard. We need to take care of that. And that is why most times, if it is possible, and from the safety point of view, most of the places people are going with a dry type transformer. But it is not so that people are not going. Those who are having a big plot, they are doing the oil one also, because of the saving in the initial stage. But if you ask me, the maintenance of the dry type is much easier than oil, because I'm using both at different locations. But our experience at dry type is much easier to maintain it. Now, as I said, that sound operating level, okay, in oil type it is much lesser than dry type. Okay, so this is, but when is there oil field transformer is there in the outside area, it may not matter also, because patient or patient relative may not be there at that location. So moving ahead. So when we have to take dry type or maybe wet type transformer, what are things we need to do? We need to give tender. Every time we say that we have to give tender, and then tender, what are the things we need to consider? So certain parameters, standards we need to maintain in dry type also. So these are the parameters what we need to consider that. Then important that there are a lot of transformer losses happen. So to avoid that, we have to have a ECPC or B star rated. Till date, whatever the B star rated standards are there, we need to follow that, because this is very, very important, because otherwise whatever we do it, there will be huge energy loss will be there and we are going to lose it. a lot of energy just because of not having a proper transformer. So these are the what are the parameters we need to consider at the time of tender. These are being given here because a couple of things are very important. One is that, as I told you earlier, and then the second thing is that separation of harmonic voltages, because voltages which comes in most of the places in rural areas or urban areas, there is a huge spikes come. Sometimes there is a lot of harmonic come. So our transformer should able to take care of that, because that is something where power is going to get delivered from transformer to all our areas. So your transformer should be so sturdy and it should have a good standard, so that we should able to save the energy also, as well as we should able to take care of these harmonic spikes and voltages. Moving ahead. Now, once we take a transformer, like people think that, oh, transformer is there, then why to do servicing? Why to invest so much on all these things? Why to do maintenance? Whenever it will give problem, we'll see that. That approach should not be there. The approach should be that once we are having, because everyone thinks that, because not because I'm from the, I started my career in biomedical engineering. Okay, with having 24 years of experience into that, I know the importance of these services also, because whenever we are installing something, no one knows, understand what is happening, what is this services mean. And everyone thinks that, oh, medical equipment, ICU, we need to take care of all these things very carefully. Then whenever we are procuring also, we put a lot of efforts on that. But when it comes to services like panels, then transformer and DG, everyone thinks, okay, chalta hai, whatever is there, we will just accept it. But that should not be the approach, because if you say that maintenance is not required for transformer, it's not right. We have to do regular maintenance. For this, you need to check it. Now, if you see here in like dry type transformer, there is a degree has been shown here. So you need to consider every time all these windings, whether that is properly is happening or not, because that has to be done by third party. We cannot say that we are going to do ourselves. It's not practically possible. So maintenance is very important in a hospital setup for all these equipments which are going to be there installed either in basement, because people think that basement mein hai to kya is okay, is going on. No one understands. So many people just come on ground floor and goes up. They don't know what is happening in basement. And then this is the heart of the hospital. Everyone should understand that this is the heart. You cannot ignore that at any time. Okay, moving ahead. Electrical panels. From transformer, power goes to electrical panels. Now, these are the live pictures which are there from our hospital itself. Now, if you see here, a lot of papers have been put here, but this is like by Thane Hospital, where it's there from last 14 years. So what are the precautions? What are the things we need to do it? Like it has been written in all the language, Hindi, Marathi, so that the people who are going to work, they should understand immediately what need to be done at the time of crisis. So there should be maintenance, proper maintenance has to happen. Now we are having here switch gears. Every 6 months, we are taking care of this cleaning and maintenance of this switchgear. Now, if you see there, if you see this panel, okay, most of the times what happens, I will tell you, like panels, the panels are designed in such a way that medical equipment panel, there is an incomer. Now from transformer, incomer will come to medical equipment panel, and from there it will go to different floors. Now, if there is only one input supply, at any moment in your lifetime, you want to take a shutdown of that, you will never able to get it. Now, if something happens to that air circuit breaker or MCCB of maybe 1250 ampere or maybe 2500 ampere, if something happens, there is a near nightmare, because you cannot do it. It's not so easy that you can pull the cable from one thing and put it in another thing. It's not practically possible. So you need to put your service concern, or who is going to design this has to make sure that there should be always a chance that there should be left side and right side panel where we should have a sufficient MCCB available, where if there is a left side there is an issue, I can able to switch over to right side and do the servicing. And then because of that, what will happen, that there will no problem with the service, getting service, as well as you can maintain your system very well, because otherwise in this case you are helpless, because practically you cannot keep that much of inventory in your own stock, and you do not know you have to do it. Because if you have a like standby available, I'm not saying for all parameters which are the critical, your panels has to be there, and because that we can have a solution proactively rather than reactive. So this is what we are doing in our hospital. Now moving ahead. So these are also, we need to check it. These are transformer which are there, and we are doing checking from the third, this is for the panels, we are doing checking from the third party. So now the next very important, UPS, uninterrupted power supply. When we are saying uninterrupted power supply, like the word it is says, it has to be uninterrupted power supply. But we are using in our medical equipments everywhere, we are using of different vendors. But that depends on which company you are going to, because most times the company suggests that you should go with this UPS system. Okay, there's no doubt about that. There's no issue about that. But please consider that if you are having a neutral issue in your organization or wherever you are having hospital, and if there is a neutral issue, please go with isolation transformer in your UPS. This is very, very important. And one more thing is very important is that so many times, as I told you, that diversity like 1045 where it becomes 345. But when we are considering UPS, you need to consider the inrush current. So whenever we are doing some, like if you see that MRI sequence, MRI is like equipment which takes lot of load. Whenever we are running some sequence of MR in brain coil or maybe in a spine, when we are running some sequence, that time the current which goes per minute is too high, and that inrush current which comes directly, your UPS should able to withstand that. If that doesn't happen, then what will happen? UPS will go on bypass mode, and if bypass mode means what? Whatever you are saving or why you are taking UPS will totally get defeated, because if your UPS is not able to take care of that inrush current, it will go on bypass, and bypass means whatever the supply which is going to come out from outside will flow from your medical equipments, and which is not a right thing to do it. So this is which I told you, only in UPS couple of things: neutral, please check it, inrush current. Now the third thing very, very important is that so many people when they design, they say that UPS area, the temperature should be 25 degree and all this thing. But I will tell you with my experience, and so many of my colleagues in industry, they may not agree, but every time I make sure that they have to agree on the facts that everyone will say that whenever you are procuring any equipment, they will say that after 3 years they will come and they will say that now UPS battery need to be replaced. Okay, this is a standard term which will come to you. So please understand that there is very, very important thing is when we are saying UPS, there are two things are there in UPS. One is that UPS and battery. Okay, if you are keeping proper pressure for UPS and if the humidity is not there, UPS can work up to 33 degree, 34 degree also, no issue at all. But batteries has to run on 25 degree to give you a good backup. Believe me that if you keep it on 25 degree, in my own hospital in Thane, we are using for last 9 years and absolutely no issue. Every time they come, they will say that this will happen, that will happen. But again, I will tell you, there are two things you need to consider. Everyone just say 12 volt. It is normally 12 volt, but please understand there is one more parameter which no one wants to tell that is called an internal resistance test, IR test. That is called the IR test. So you have to make sure whenever you are procuring something, UPS or transformer, you have to make it sure for next 10 years, your AMC contract has to be as clear as that. Because if you do not do all these things, you will land up in a scenario that every 3 years someone will come and say that now you need to replace a battery and battery cost will be huge. And then everyone will say, oh, forget about that. We'll continue the way. And then if something happens, now someone will say that why to do 25 degree, why to do air conditioning for batteries? It is of use, no use. But believe me, if you keep it properly 25 degree, please consider in like 9 years I'm using the same batteries, absolute no issue. Now 3 years if you want to replace it, consider the cost of that. That will be much more than this cost which will come of air conditioning. So please look into that of battery part. Now UPS should have like what we are having is that there are parallel UPS has to be there. Like we can say that one UPS goes down, the other should be able to take care of that. So that much at least we need to look into while procuring the UPS system. Now this is a UPS tender sheet which is there now, which we discuss also. So that we need to consider. This is the actual photo of UPS. Now everywhere you can see that there should be firefighting system also along with this extinguisher. There is a firefighting system everywhere. So you have to maintain that also. Now this is air conditioning area with 25 degrees maintained. If you see on the battery also, all the battery will show that it has to maintain on 25 degree. So please maintain it, and I am sure that you don't have to replace it soon if you maintain it at 25 degree. Moving ahead. Now this is the way we keep our UPS reading every day. So you need to have maintenance team who will look into all these things and will able to take care of the input voltage, output voltage. So we will get proactively if something is going wrong. So this is for the UPS. Now, as I told you, now This is the thing which I would like to show, and this is something very few people are aware about that. This is called as internal impedance. Can you see that? Float voltage. Float voltage is 12 volt. So these are the voltage. Sometimes if it goes down, everyone will say that maybe out of bank of 34 these batteries, if 2 or 3 are not working, they will say, oh, okay, you have to replace all 34. It is not the case. You have to see this impedance. Please understand. If it is there less than that R value of less than 5, you don't have to worry. Nothing will happen. Even if you replace 2 or 3, nothing will go wrong. They will say that series will get breakdown. Nothing will go. Don't worry at all. This is very, very important. And that is why I put this on the slide so that everyone will get this idea very clearly. Okay. So we'll move ahead. So now diesel generator. Now the third thing which is there, very, very important, diesel generator. Now this design is totally depend on, like in our hospital, we are having our entire load is on the like 1000 kV, 2 diesel generators are there. Now diesel generator also can have a different type of diesel generators are there. Now before going to diesel generator data sheet, similar type of data sheet for DG also we need to consider, and this is the tender data sheet which is there, which will give the idea. Now diesel generator works like if it is saying 100 kVA is the load, then you have to consider another 20% more for diesel, because diesel DG always runs on only 80% efficiency, so you need to take into consideration that DG load also. So we'll move ahead. So there are 3 types, like radiator based DG, this is a heat exchanger based DG, and this is a new thing which has been launched recently. Still no equipment has not, product has not come in market. It is like from Cummins, this coil cooler base. So in our Thane hospital, we are having a heat exchanger base, which was developed somewhere in 2004. It has we have placed the order. This was somewhere in 2016 radiator base. This is a new thing. So I'm having advantages on both things. When I'm saying heat exchanger, that time radiator base was not there available, and we have gone with heat exchanger. Now what happens that heat exchanger means there has to be a cooling tower for that. Now here I will tell you, now this is new technology which has come, coil cooler against existing cooling. Now coil cooler means what? When I'm saying existing cooling, there are a lot of things we have to do. There are a lot of maintenance is required. Frequently you have to top up your coolant, oil, diesel, all these things, fan belt replacement, all these things are there. There are a lot of services, maintenance are there in existing cooling. Coil cooler is something like that, 24 months free of cost warranty is there, lead time is 4 to 6 weeks. This is more. Then in like existing cooler, either you have a radiator or heat exchanger, you are having a cooling tower. Now if you are having cooling tower, you need to maintain the water parameters for that. Now maintaining water parameter, you should have a good team to do all these things. So now this is a new trend which is coming of coil cooler, but those who can able to, because the coil cooler, the advantage, you can put it on the top of the your cabinet, acoustic also, you can able to put it there on top of that. So these are the new things which are come in market recently. Now if you see here, now this is our Pune. Now here we do not have a cooling tower on top. So here a radiator. So radiator will do a heat exchange job here. In case of diesel tank which is there, where we can keep 990 liters as per the norms. These are 2 DG which are there in our Pune hospital. Now if you see here, this is our Thane hospital, where this is a AMF panel is there, but here we do not have a radiator there. So here we are having hot like cooling tower which is there on the ceiling. Now here, as I told you, this cooling water, we need to maintain the analysis for that. This is very, very, if you do not keep the right water parameter, again we will have a problem in the running of the this heat exchanger. You will have some problem there, and in the running of the DG we are having problem. Now, as I told you, very, very important, whenever you have procured something, please do your equipment maintenance contract for next, like what we do for medical equipment. Similarly, there is no two way about that. You have to do it. Otherwise, this company will make sure that once you are having equipment, you are not going to change your equipment for lifelong. Maybe medical equipment you may change, but here services you will not able to change it. Like DG and all this is practically not possible. So you have to do equipment maintenance contract with them. Now here, as I told you, there are different plans are available. Like you have to choose, but you have to choose at the time of procurement of the equipment, because later on you are on the receiving end only. You have to accept whatever the company will say, but you are going to lose a lot of time. So while procuring something, you please make sure that you take care of all these issues and your equipment maintenance contract. So moving ahead, like as I told you, in DG also we cannot say that like we are not doing maybe B check is there for after 500 hours or maybe 6 months. Then C check is there maybe after 15,000 hours or maybe after 2 years, one and a half year. So all these things, B check, C check, you need to do it regularly. This is what the costing is there. Costing is not much, like for the 1000 kVA it's like 60,000. But we cannot ignore that, because ignorance is like, we cannot say it's a medical, these are the service and we have to ignore it. So please do not do that. These are the things which are important. Please close the deal prior to closing the entire equipment deal, like what will you cost for A, B, C, D checks, and you will get the good deal at the time of procurement. Moving ahead, these are the government norms which are there when we are using this DG. These are the norms which have been considered. These are very, very important if you are running DG, and these are like, we are keeping like every time you have to have a like reading. If you see that your in-house tip has to maintain everything, right from battery voltage, engine oil, every day you have to do it. Something where you can able to understand whether DG is running or not. No load test has to be done every time. So these are things are very, very important. And like for energy efficiency, my earlier speaker has also discussed about that in our Pune hospital. Our Pune hospital has been designed by the BIP, that is Indo-Swiss Building Energy Efficiency Project. Our energy performance index is 136 kWh per meter square per year. That is one of the best in healthcare industry. Now, how it has happened? It has happened with like when we are saying energy, with our own experience of our Thane hospital, which was built 7 to 8 years prior to Pune hospital, we realized that yes, HVAC is contributing around, in Thane it was contributing 55% of the entire energy billing. And if you see that, if you see that there are certain things in a hospital outgoing where HR is there, the consumables are like HR is there 50 to 55%. If I'm saying the outgoing for the HR for the every hospital month, then HR will be somewhere 50 to 55%. Purchase procurement, the consumables will be 20 to 25%. So 5% is energy consumption. So out of that 5%, if you do the proper energy conservant efficient hospital, you are going to save it. Now you will not believe that if international standard is 200 kWh per meter square, so every year in Pune we are saving around 1.92 CR just by doing something. Because when I'm saying energy efficient, my load goes down, and once my load goes down, and now what are the things has been considered energy efficient? Just one thing I would like to tell you. One is like heat recovery reef we have installed. We are having pre-cooling concept there. We are having VFD. We are having VFDs everywhere. For humidity maintenance, we are having heat pumps are there. And important that the glass structure, the way we have put it, the U value is such that patient will also get the daylight, as well as we will have a less U value, because less the U value, less the energy consumption. So from here, I would like to say thank you for giving me opportunity, and I hope if someone is having some query, you can contact me at any moment. My number will be there with the organizer. So thanks a lot once again.
Thank you, Mr. Neelesh, for your wonderful lecture. Now we will open the session for discussion. So I request all the speakers to be on. Dinakar sir.
Yeah, Prashant.
Very
nice topic. Thank you, Ganesh. You brought a very good speaker. As usual, like last time, dynamic, energetics. Very, very, very good. Neelesh, really nice topic. Excellent. And one more thing, one small thing. You are talking about the UPS.
Yeah.
So suppose 100-bedded hospital is there with a CT scan. Something CT scan. Usually CT scan is 60. I mean, it's not 129. It's a 64 CT. Planning to buy it. So is it 60 kV UPS online? Is it suffice, or do you think we should go for a higher one?
Only UPS is going to be there on CT scan?
No.
CT scan
UPS
only
is for whole hospital.
No,
whole hospital we are buying online UPS 60 kV parallel. So according to them, it will take care of even CT scan also, as well as hospital also.
No, but first thing that we need to understand which equipment is there, what is their equipment load. As I told you, what is the inrush current is going to come from their equipment, that they have to define that. And when we are saying the entire hospital, so we have to define what are the loads are going to be there. Like the way I've made the calculation list, we have to make that list, because we cannot, because if you are saying that, are you going to run the pathology and blood bank equipments also?
No.
On UPS?
Pathology, see, all those equipment will take very less electricity only, no?
No, but like, no, again, I'm telling you, if you are saying that in pathology blood bank, there is a refrigerators are there. Our machines refrigerator are also there on UPS. So we have to define that what are things are going to be there UPS. If it is refrigerators are also there, or maybe then I have centrifuge also there. So in that case, the 60 kV will not be enough.
Okay. So probably then we have to go for a dual, means 120 kV we are supposed to.
Now I will give you an idea, sir. In our Pune hospital, okay, I'm having a 160 kVA, okay, but in our case, like entire thing, whatever you say medical equipment other than CT, MR, LINAC, everything, we are having 160 kVA UPS, online UPS, and the load which is there on that is around 70%.
Yes, sir.
160 kVA, 70%, but we are putting each and everything other than medical equipments like CT, MR, LINAC, or cath lab, PET CT is not there. They are having their individual UPS. Other than that, our emergency lighting also is there on UPS. All the PCs are also on the UPS, and all equipments like endoscopy, dialysis also there. We are having 16 bed dialysis, that is also there. So in 160 kVA, I am using 70% of load.
Yes. I think so. Then CT scan, we are supposed to keep separate UPS online.
Sir, I will always say that don't mix up that together, because if there's some issue comes on that side,
yeah,
then it is always your entire system will be in trouble. So better you have both things together, different.
Yeah, I think so. Oil transformer is very expensive. Oil transfer, it is not so expensive as than dry transformer.
Yes.
So do you think which is more comfortable, because little place is available?
Okay.
So
no. My question is
periphery,
that,
which is the best things?
Okay, I'm using both. So for me, if you ask me from maintenance point of view, dry is better one.
Yeah.
Than oil one. Because oil, from the safety point of view, dry you can put it anywhere inside the basement also. Oil you have to keep it outside only. There is no other option there. And maintenance of the oil is much rigorous than dry. Dry you can do in-house also. But after 10 years of dry, you have to change the winding resistance. So there is a test which is there, that tan delta test, that you need to do it. But otherwise, dry type, dry type will give some more louder noise than oil cooled. But it doesn't matter, because oil cooled will be always away from the building.
Yes.
So I will prefer to have dry. Initial costing will be more, but maintenance will be cheaper.
Yeah, Prashant.
Yes, sir.
If anybody wants to ask, let them ask. Later, I can ask later.
Dr. Dinakar, can I ask a question? Is it
yes,
possible?
sir. Go ahead.
Shekhar here, Dinakar.
Yeah, Shekhar, please go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Neelesh, I'm Dr. Shekhar here. Neelesh, can you hear me?
Shekhar.
Go
ahead, Shekhar.
Sorry, your voice is not audible.
No, we can hear you, Shekhar.
Yes. Regarding UPS, there's a lot of difference between companies. If you can tell me which is cost effective and a good one with your experience, UPS system for the hospital.
Okay, you mean to say which company?
Yeah, which is cost effective, because I'm looking for my new hospital now, second branch, and we find a lot of difference between each company.
Yes. Sir, now if you see that, as I told you, if there is a neutral issue, please have an isolation transformer. That is the first thing you need to consider. Now there are company called as Emerson is there, Eaton is there, Consul is there. Now Consul is no more there. There is a new name is there for that company. Then in maybe South also some few vendors will be there. So you need to consider that your costing will be more or less will be similar in all the companies. you need to consider only one point which is very, very important, that they will never do it. One is that when you are doing maintenance contract, please close it before you sign off this order. For next 10 years, you please close this CMC contract or CMC contract only. Close it that very clearly. Now they will put it across that, as I told you, battery. If you maintain 25-degree battery, make it sure that in all CMC contract in a year, they have to do, in couple of first year, they have to do at least twice that IR whenever they will come, internal resistances. And after 2.5 years, 3 years, every 6 months, they have to do it as a part of IR register. If you take that into writing, and if you take that CMC contract in any stage, you will get better pricing. Later on, you will not able to get it. So better you close for next 10 years.
Thank you.
Because my own experience, I'm working with all these vendors, but my own experience that Emerson, I'm getting better service.
Thank you.
Yeah, Prashant.
Yes, sir.
Prashant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dinakar,
Okay.
what are you using? Dry transformer or the other one? Dinakar, in your hospital now?
No, I am planning to buy the dry transformer.
No.
And already Emerson online, what is it? UPS 60 kV, the dual thing we bought. We already negotiated for 7 years, complete CMC we negotiated. 7 years. It's a good, today I came to know 10 years. Now I'll go and jump on them for 10 years.
Exactly.
Sir, add IR, internal resistance test also.
So this is for UPS, right, Neelesh?
Internal resistance test has to be the way I said, first couple of years, once in a year, and then you increase twice in a year. Put it there as a part of your agreement.
Mr. Neelesh, this is for UPS, right? The advice what is for UPS. Yes, we will also do the same.
And transformer, I will go with dry type. If you are having space there inside of a building, I will prefer dry type.
But it is being given by the owner, transformer. We don't
So
do
it's
it.
already there, like as I told you, in one of my hospital, we are having dry, one is wet, oil. For oil, lot of maintenance I have to keep, so I have to have a dedicated person there. But dry type, it is not so.
Okay.
If
Because
you are having
usually the owners will get us the transformers, so we don't scratch our head for that particular aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raghavendra. Raghavendra, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Raghavendra, you are talking about the AC, no?
Yes, sir.
AC.
Yes,
and
sir.
You are talking about what is it? Silver nano micro painting for all the walls and the ducts and other things.
Yes,
okay, and okay, it's all good. But one thing is, suppose if there is a COVID ward is also there. COVID ward is also. I know that you are going to put coronavirus is 0.2 micron. You are going to put a HEPA filter or some name you are telling the filter.
Doctor, it
Suppose
is
if corona will come and sit on that because it sucks it. That duct, all the duct in that filter, corona will go and sit on any surface. The corona will sit, and it is a source of the corona is means. Please, it will be there. How you are going to eliminate that filter? Corona is sitting on that.
Yeah, Doctor sir, this is Ramesh again. So I'm the colleague of Raghavendra. Doctor, first let us understand the schematics of the equipment. How do we treat the air? So the treatment of the air is in 7 stages. Point number 1. The 7 stages are, let's talk about pre, microwave, carbon activated filter, ULPA, you have silver ion coating, you have ionizer inbuilt. This is one part of it. And second part is the ULPA filters, whichever been installed in the equipment of the air conditioning system, or it might be tripod. What it does is, let us understand the construction part of it. It is fiberglass media. If you keep that media under microscope and if you just watch it, it is in crisscross condition and it is fiberglass media. And whatever is the arrestance which is happening, that does not grow because it does not have any ideal condition for it to grow. When there is an ideal condition, then only it talks about molding itself. So all the 7 stages has its own target of killing it 100% with every stage of it. So these are the stages where it will take the killing of the bacteria or viruses or the bioburden, whatever has been expressed as of us. I mean, as of us. All this will be eliminated to the extent, and the HEPA filters, whatever is the arrestance, 99.997% it will be killed due to not ideal conditions for it to grow on the medium.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, just I am asking you, Raghavendra, for you one more, if you don't mind. Just see, it is our first hospital, not like Neelesh. He is an expert and he closes his eyes and he will tell like a numerical all the things. It will come like this. So just I am asking you, everywhere, even the AC, because you are the AC person. So today people are seeing you, and it will be there on the air also in the YouTube. They are going to come to you people. Usually AC also, Neelesh, it is for you also. And even for the Raghavendra also. Usually they are going to put complete this thing. Usually they will also give 5 years warranty CMC or something, or I don't know how you're going to, how we should do bargain with them. Neelesh.
Okay. So when I'm saying AC, there are 4 things I can consider. Is that first thing, that chiller. Okay. So there are chiller. Then there is a cooling tower is there. There are chiller pumps are there. Then heat pumps are there. These are the things which are very, very important. For air handling units, AHU, you don't have to worry about that. You should, if you are having your own team, they can able to do the filter cleaning regularly. But you will require a support for chiller and heat pump. So now that depends on the individual, that someone will say that CMC cost will be more, but we always prefer, at least here also, at least for after warranty period, if you consider for 2 years, next 7 years. So overall life cycle cost, I always consider between 8 to 10 years. So they give us a very clearly what will happen CMC, what are things they are going to come cover in that. You have to define it very clearly. If there descaling has to be done in chiller, then whose scope of that, then water parameters, who is going to maintain it. So if you put it that all across to the vendor who has supplied you chiller, because most time that chiller plant manager are supplied by the most time in single vendor. So we can give all these things. CMC contract happens there also. So in initial stage, if you do it procurement during sale talk, they will give the best pricing. But once you are not done that, and then later on after a couple of years of warranty, if you start asking them the question, the cost will go high. Like it happens in UPS also, that if you don't do it in proper time at a time, it will be definitely a jump of around 30 to 40% more CMC cost they will give you. So it happens, and you can able to close it for after warranty for 7 years.
Yeah, Raghavendra, you want to answer this?
Yeah, I would rather talk. Sir. Doctor, this is Ramesh again. Was talking about the holistic approach of the air conditioning. Now let us talk about what kind of systems we have adapted. Because chilled water plants, it's a holistic approach by sir. So it's a bigger hospital and you have a bigger tonnage. So chillers and pumps, cooling towers exist when it is a bigger area, and when there is a back calculation cost against VRF and chiller, then we take a decision over how do we adapt chiller system or whether we go with VRF system. This is point number 1. Now, when we talk about minor systems, like let's talk about somewhere 100 or 150 tons or whatever. So VRF systems is independent by itself. Somewhere, let's talk something called hybrid systems, where evaporative cooling also helps us to reduce a lot of recurring costs. So we would rather build a system or consider a system where we have a balance between stable balance between initial and the recurring cost. So we cannot be particular enough like chillers or DX or evaporative, or it might be even scavenging systems which we adapt. This is one part of it. And coming to the AMCs and CMCs, when the systems are complicated in terms of chilling or in terms of filtration, then this will be viable. Or we can have the selection of proper system integrators are important, where they will take the full responsibility. And after warranty, the thing is, the systems are still virgin, to be slang, I'm sorry. So 2-3 years, if it is on the regular visit basis, I'm talking about a medium scale hospital to average and medium scale hospitals. So this would be rather fine because it's again gambling. Like when I talk about AMCs, if nothing goes wrong, so we are having that. But if we properly find somebody, a good system integrator, where he gives you a service within 24 to 48 hours, we would save a lot in terms of AMCs and CMCs. This is.
Thank you, Ramesh.
Dinakar, I have 2 questions. Can I ask them? Is it possible?
Please.
Thanks, Dinakar. Okay, now I have questions for Mr. Neelesh and Raghavendra. One is for the NICU and one is for the new IVF lab, embryology lab.
Yes.
For NICU, I heard from your slides that we can go for VRF plus ionizer.
Yeah.
We already have a built NICUs now.
Yeah.
So can we get a separate ionizer which can be kept in the NICUs?
Yeah, doctor, good one. Actually, let us talk about first seeing the location of the layout, where it is placed. NICU, where exactly it is placed. We need to first check about the adjacent area and the infiltration of contamination which is causing. For example, what kind of human movement is happening and how many times breastfeeding, for example, and how are we handling the contaminants which is delivered inside. So based on this, let us talk something called an economical solution. We have options. Let's talk about we have ready-made and ready VRF systems which is in place. So if the contamination because of the improper protocol which is followed, if it is high, then we can go with a small tri-air pod, or if the protocol is okay, then we can go with the ionizer. So solution depends on how do we calculate the contamination levels which is existing as of now in ICU.
Because many say we can go for these filters. It's a new thing for me, the ionizer part. So do we get together the filters and ionizer in one equipment?
Yeah, that is called tripod, sir. See, we were explaining about that equipment. It's called tri-air pod. What it does is, it has 7 stages of filtration on the whole. And it has 3 modes. Now, what we're trying to do is, when we talk about, I think Neelesh also is listening, when we talk about air conditioning system with particular air changes, that's called scavenging air change, which we call it. And next one more CFM is called dehumidified CFM. So what is this to exactly? The amount of air which is required to cool the area. Let's talk about some amount of air is dehumidified CFM. When we talk about cleansing, then it's called scavenging CFM. So generally what we do, we have this in one system within the AHU, air handling unit. So any point of time, it is not independent operations between the dehumidified CFM and the scavenging CFM. Because when we switch on, it is, let's talk about 5000 CFM. So you have around 10 HP of motor, and the both CFM is handled together, so there is nothing called power saving. So what we have done is, we have created this equipment separately, which has 7 stages, which is scavenging completely, where we are eliminating the ducting, insulation. Your even recurring cost will be reduced, because whenever you need, you can switch it off. Second,
I'm talking about we have VRF system. It is not AHU for NICUs.
No, that's fine. When there is VRF system, so this equipment can be placed based on the protocol what you are following. It is not compulsory that you have to have this equipment.
I think I'll talk to you privately, maybe tomorrow. So about this, so I understand more. So I don't want to, waste the time for others. My second question is about IVF. We are doing IVF now. The main point of discussion is about embryology. So we could not get a AHU done because the place, and what others say is you have to go for fan call unit plus lab guard plus some other stuff. 3 things combination. What's your opinion about that?
Sir, my opinion is, first thing, we more concentrate on the finish part of it. I don't need more VOC levels which is going to generate. Let's talk about what kind of paint we have used, what kind of flooring we have done, what is kind of ceiling what we have put. So let us first calculate about VOC is one of the important factors in my IVF actually.
VOC is, we're doing VOC.
So this elimination has to be taken care by paint, It's a kind of process which is involved. You can paint it with silver ion because silver ion is nothing but it acts on the protein of the bacteria and it kills it. So that is one part. Embedded silver ion. So embedded silver ion in the paint where it is coated, and the warranty is around 10 years, 8 to 10 years on the whole. And second part of it is ionizers and the cooling systems. We have to enhance it into the filtration. Again, this dry-air pod equipment comes into existence.
Okay. So I spoke about that fan coil unit plus lab guard instead of AHA. What's your opinion?
For fan coil, any cooling system with dry-air pod will not be a problem because it's a complete filtration system.
Exactly. That's actually input I got. So I wanted to cross check. Anyway, I'll talk to you privately tomorrow so that I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with fan coil unit also, you will not have any issue in IVF.
Okay. Right.
Sir, can I interfere? I'm sorry. Can I talk in terms of fan coil unit? If I'm permitted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fan coil,
please go ahead.
Fan coil unit does not talk about bioburden. It talks about only the cooling part of it. See, there are two things, cleansing and cooling. So what do we do for cleansing? The issue is that only. See, fan coil units, I have 5 tons or 4 tons, it is going to cool my area. And it is slightly reducing my humidity, slightly. And if there is a proper heater in place, then we have intact relative humidity.
And we'll be adding lab guard for that, for the air circulation. Yeah.
So cooling part is taken over. You can go with fan coil unit, but selection of the units should not have more accumulation places. Because when I get more, cooling coil itself is my bioburden area to be precise. So apart from it, like once I switch off my unit, my bioburden area will be the condensation tray part of it.
So we are doing the combination of fan coil unit, ionizer, and lab guard. So
I would prefer cassette units because the amount of accumulation will be lesser.
Yeah, we are using cassette unit.
Yeah, cassette units with the dry-air pod will be a fantastic combination.
Yeah. Same thing. Plus lab guard for the air circulation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If there is a visit, then detailing will be better.
Yeah, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So Dr. Balamurali, are you here?
Yes, sir. I am here.
Okay. Vinod, are you here? Vinod Nair.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay. For you people, there is one small question. It has popped up here. Balu, you were talking in your presentation. You should have some 8-stage pressure coated, powder coated antibacterial painting.
Yeah.
And you were telling it is little expensive. I know that some people do give a 2 coating and they will tell it's the bacterial. So how we will come to know whether they have coated that epoxy antibacterial paint they have done, whether they have done micron and all you are telling, but as a doctor, I don't have time to go and see the micron measurement and all those things. How to trust the people? Vinod and Balamurali. And about antibacterial mattress. How how as a doctor, how to know before buying the bed antibacterial mattress, how to know? And about the cot and other things, how to know the paint? That is the second question. Third question is, nowadays everywhere that ABS material comes from China, nobody makes in India. But that is not made up of any epoxy or some things. So what we should do? Usually it goes off in 1 year. So both, first Senthil, next Vinod.
Yeah, fine. So thanks for asking an excellent question, sir. On the powder coating, like these are the most important thing. And I was talking about the 8-stage powder coating process. But say once it's the normal one. But if you want an antibacterial coating, now the latest technology is available, the antibacterial powder coating. So the powder makes the difference. How to test it? Like with the naked eyes, we cannot test it between the ordinary and the antibacterial. Only thing is, it should be a trusted manufacturer, and they should try to give you a kind of a test certificate that this has been properly coated with antibacterial. That is the only way which you can really measure it up. Because in normal eyes, we will not be able to make it up. And antibacterial would be double the cost of the regular ones. So this is what on the antibacterial. And on the antibacterial mattress, yes, we have earlier, we don't have people manufacturing these things. Now in India, people have started last 1 year or so, they have started manufacturing the artificial leather material with the antibacterial coating. So we need to give a certificate that these particular products have been used on your product. So you have to ask for a certification from the manufacturer supporting their claim that they have done this process. So that is the best part which you can do. Yeah.
Yeah. Dinesh sir, I agree with what Bala said. It's a trust. You know, as a common man can understand, cannot identify that is it a 7-layer or 8-layer, 8-tank process which is done it. See, it's totally depending on the professionalism which the manufacturer do, and the client and the manufacturer, how the relation, that matters. Second, regarding the mattress, what Bala said is correct. Now, nowadays, the artificial leather which is coming, which is antibacterial as well as fire retardant. So this is the two things which we can think about when they select the mattress.
Yeah. What about that ABS material? Because for in all the hospitals in a big rooms, big rooms means what is it, A1 room or something, suite rooms, they're using this, no? ABS material, because it usually goes off.
Yeah, I understand, sir.
And it fades off.
These kind of the headboard and the leg boards are the imported ones, which was an ABS in nature, which everybody were importing from China and doing it. But today in India, we have manufacturers who are doing in PP, polypropylene. So we have an excellent manufacturing facilities available in India. Now people are supplying these things. So in fact, we are putting all those PP material in that, which is very good actually. So you need not have to worry that it has to come from China. No, it is available in India today.
Yes.
And the product quality is also
one criteria, because you both people are manufacturers. One criteria, even that also, Shinde, it is for you when we are buying the cot and other things.
Yeah.
Because it's all comes there, because everything looks very good. It is 80,000. One cot will come around 80,000, 75,000. And the highest one, electrical, motorized. But usually company will give 2 years, max 2 years, everybody is giving. Then after that, do you think how to take CMC from them for, because 2 years that material we cannot throw it. How to take from them, how to bargain with them for CMC, AMC?
For the hospital beds, if it is Indian one, we normally prefer to do it through manufacturer directly. Okay, so trust factor is very, very important here. We should not go through agent or the service provider who comes maybe one day they will have a service agreement with them, and maybe next year they will say we are no more doing that service of that. So we should not land up in that scenario. So we have to deal with directly with manufacturer. We are having in our case 3 years warranty whenever we have procured something, and all the equipments which are there are like in electrical motors, what we use, the motor cost is and actuator cost. That's the only thing which is there. Actuator, most of it comes from the sometimes we are abroad also. So we have to have some specific pricing for that. We have not done AMC, CMC for that, for those products. But yes, we are having pricing for that. So they give a service to us, because every time something a new thing is coming up and they are in touch with us. So for us, 3 years warranty is the standard term as well, but there is no AMC, CMC. But all the product, because we are having in-house biomedical team who takes care of everything, and whatever the actuators are required or my motor is required, that replacement is done by in-house. But we keep some stock with us, and that pricing has been freeze at the time of negotiation.
Yeah. So that means our biomedical person should know how to fix it, and we should procure and keep it some things. It's
Yes.
better.
Better.
Okay. Okay. So Balamurali, Senthil, please remember this. Okay.
Right.
Vinod, please remember this. Okay. And now, can I ask Prashant Gowda? Can I ask one question to our how to quick review about the incubator and the warmer?
Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir. And Dr. Vijay Kumar is also.
I have forgotten his name. Sorry, speaker.
Sir,
Chandan
Dr. Vijay
Gupta.
Kumar there. Dr. Vijay
Gupta ji,
Kumar.
sorry to trouble you. You were telling about previously we used to get the in 1999 or 96 incubators were there. We used to put the water. It is like one small container, and we never know how that water is to come. Okay, now you explained it will be, there are two methods. The whatever the water we are going to put it, it will spread in the. You told there are two methods. Number one is vaporizer. Another one is one more word you used. Sorry, I have forgotten.
One is moisture. One is vapor with the vapor form.
Yeah, Chandru. Okay, Gupta. See, this is like this. Moisture always carries a bacteria. Vaporizer, I think so. I don't know whether it carries, if it is there. Do you think, because I have seen in India, many people are not using the incubator. What is the reason? Number one. Number two, now people are going after it is, whether it is a passion or whether it is a fashion. I don't know. People are going for incubators, but since I never seen in many hospitals, even big hospital, they had a 2-3 incubators only, but they never used it. But we know that incubator is very good. It will maintain the relative humidity, absolute humidity, and infection control will come down because of the temperature will maintain. And I want regarding that heater, vaporizer, or this thing, and why that incubator is better than the warmer.
Okay. So I will.
It is a debatable question to you.
Yeah, it's to be honest, now it is more or less clear. The answer is there. The time period that you mentioned during 1999, very few resuscitation used to happen for below 30 weeks. So now when we are doing all above, most of the cases above 30 weeks, warmers do a job in a very nice way. So probably that need for having an incubator was not that great during those time frames. But today, if you really look at the statistics, 15% at least we are doing less than 30 weeks baby, the resuscitation below 30 weeks. Now for these babies, clinically, the closed system, which is a mother's womb, is the right place. So incubator is the right place for them clinically for this. So that is point number one. Point number two, if you really look at the basic difference between an incubator and a warmer, in a warmer, you give the direct heat to the baby. So you directly control the heater depending on the set temperature and the baby's temperature. In case of incubator, you don't give direct heat. You actually heat the air, and then hot air comes into that compartment. It actually increases the temperature of the compartment. Depending on that, the baby's temperature increases. So the technology that is involved in it is a little more complex, and probably that's the reason you need to invest on technology when you are buying an incubator, because it is not direct heating, it is indirect heating. For these very fragile babies, you are not giving direct heating, and any temperature change is important. So as the technology is little more complex, you need to invest on that. That is point number two. Point number three, as you rightly mentioned, that humidity for these very fragile babies is a very important part, and we need to give the right humidity. So we cannot do the over or under. Now the humidity can be given in two forms. I gave an example for ventilator. So whenever we are doing a ventilator, we use a humidifier, which is basically what happens. There is a moisture, the paper is there, and then the hot air goes over that, it collects that moisture and it mixes with the air and comes. That's the way we give the humidity in the ventilator. Now most of the, I would say that the value segment incubators use the similar principle where humidity is given in the moisture form. Now when you give the humidity in a moisture form, what happens? Moisture particles are much bigger. So the microorganism can come on that and they actually act as a carrier for the microorganism and coming into the environment and create lots of nuisance as an infection. Now, the technology that I talked about is that in the chamber, the water will be preheated to between 55 to 60 degrees centigrade. And then depending on the exact humidity that you want to give, let's say 50%, 55%, 90%, 95%, you decide. The microprocessor will calculate how much water needs to be boiled. So it will take that amount of water from that chamber, it will boil and make it vapor, and then it will mix with the air and oxygen, and then it will come into the compartment. Now when it is in, first of all, when it is boiled to 100 degree, most of the microorganism will die. Not only that, the vapor, whenever it is in a vapor form, the particles are such small that no microorganism can sit on that, because those are much smaller than any known microorganism. So no microorganism can come. So that's the way you are ensuring that you are giving sterile humidity. So that technology is different than giving a moisture type humidity.
Okay.
Okay.
Gupta ji, it is a very nice explanation. Very nice. Then one more thing I'll ask you. And I know that you people are having incubator too. And you people are having giraffe, like it opens up and it closes. Other
Dinakar,
than,
I have a question after you.
okay. So other than easy accessibility, is there any value of that machine, giraffe? Other than easy access, whenever we want accessibility, okay, it will go up. Or buying an incubator is better because giraffe costs very high. Why I am asking this question? Many people doesn't have money to buy the giraffe, so they can buy the incubator. So what is your take-home message?
Okay, so as I said that if you have noticed, my first thing that started with that the brain at 23 weeks is like a more like a golf ball, and then at a 40 weeks it's more like a broccoli. So a lot of development happens on the brains during those periods, especially during the period of 23 to 30 weeks. Now what we are recommending is that if you are taking babies of 26, 27, 28, 29 weeks, then you put it on giraffe, because this is a neurodevelopmental care that we are talking about. Whenever any type of stresses that happen, whether it is a touch stress or pressure stress or light stress or sound stress or thermal stress, then what will happen is that the babies, because of the pressure increases, what it will happen, there will be brain seizure. Now the type of the brain seizure and the duration of the brain seizure will depend on that, the type of the pressure that's being, the baby will feel, and that will create a long-term neurodevelopmental care issues. So as I said that product like giraffe takes care of lot of design things to ensure that each of these stresses are reduced very significantly. I will just give an example. We talked about in my presentation about how we have reduced the sound. So if you really look at it, first is that one of the things that produce sound is the alarm speaker. Now in the speaker, we tried 216 positions to see where we put the speaker. So we have put on the pedestal with a 45-degree angle to the floor, so that on the bouncing effect, everyone can hear it properly. But on the center of the bed, the noise level is the lowest. So that's the design feature. Then we talked about low noise fan. The fan is another thing, because in this case of an incubator, you are basically using fan to put the air inside the chamber. So if there will be a noise of the fan which the babies will be hearing. So how you can design a fan which is a very low noise so that the overall noise factor is less. So these are the different things that we have done for each one of these cases that I talked about, to reduce the stress level of the baby, so that we can create an environment almost like a mother's home. I talked about a cascade control mechanism versus the PID control mechanism that's being used in most of the incubator. Now you look at it, when you use a warmer, it is a direct heating. When you are doing a direct heating, heat is coming directly to the baby and the temperature is changing. So the PID controller is good in a warmer environment. But when it comes to an incubator, your heater is not directly hitting the baby. The heater is hitting the air. The air is going inside a big chamber that is hitting out the chamber. And then with that the baby is getting heated. So there, and you need to measure the environmental chamber air and how each one of them are acting, and accordingly it is changing the baby's temperature. If you do that and you change your algorithm, then accordingly the temperature changes will happen. That's the reason you will notice that in my graph I have shown that whenever you put a baby, say 28 weeks, you will say that put the baby, let's say at 37.1 degree. You don't say 36 or 37 or 35 because you are very particular about 0.1 degree. Now in the PID controller, the variation, because it's an indirect way in between, there is an air environment, there will be overshoot and undershoot. The up and down will be 0.5 degree. So if you select at 36.5, it will vary between 36 and 37. So total 1 degree window. Now in this case of a cascade control, because you are taking care of the environmental temperature, how it is changing, and depending on that, how it is affecting the baby's temperature, a third parameter is being taken into consideration. The overall, the variation will be 0.1 degree up and down. So as a result, the variation will be only 0.2 degree instead of a 1 degree. So the temperature overshoot and undershoot will be minimized by 80%. As a result, the babies will be most of the time will be in the thermal neutral environment. Because he or she will be in the thermal neutral environment most of the time, the metabolism and the baby's development, cell development will be maximum.
Yeah. Shekhar?
Yeah. So I have something to add with my personal experience. Initially, we used to have a different incubator. I don't want to name the company. The problem was with the moisturizer. If you keep the humidity as 80%, it used to get moistured, and we could not see the baby. Then we went into the inner part of it. There was a big tube connecting to the chamber. There was a lot of sludge in that, and we never knew about the sludge formation. So then we started cleaning the sludge every 3 months. It was difficult to open. Then the infection rate come down. Means the moisturizing aspect of the incubator is not good when compared to giraffe. And the air filter is very big in other companies. And in giraffe you have a very small air filter. So the infection, again, the changing the air filter is also very important every 3 months. Changing the air filter, changing the distilled water every alternate day, changing the jar, the humidifier jar is all part of the process. So recently we bought 2 giraffe incubator because we knew the advantage of giraffe. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shekhar. Very good. Very good. Senthil, Balu, are you here?
Yes, sir. I am here, sir.
Is there any futuristic medical bed, furnitures bed you can suggest to us? Any futuristic?
Actually, the technology is on the medical beds is going to improve a lot in future. Say, particularly during this Corona time. So there are beds which has come out where you can have the sensors inbuilt onto the bed, and the patient can be monitored remotely. Say, the sensors are kept, and the communication unit will be hooked on to the Wi-Fi. And doctors, like, you could able to view the patient wise the parameters like your heart rate, the respiration, and pulse oximetry, and sleep pattern. So currently these 4 parameters, vital parameters, can be monitored by you remotely. So not near to the bed, not near to the monitor. So you can have anywhere, you can view the patient details by logging into a username and password. And it can also have a lot of alerts. Say, whenever there is going to be in, say, the tachy, or wherever the heart rate exceeds, then you can set a alarm limit, and it will automatically give you an alert by way of an SMS, or even an email can be done. So this is what the technology is developing. And over a future, say in an ICU bed and all that, even ECG and all that is on development. So over a period of time, like, the beds will replace those monitors, and the conveniences you can monitor remotely. So that is going to be the advantage. Like, one person sitting inside the hospital, or even when you are out, you could able to monitor your patients, and the alerts will come to you. So this is the
Yes.
technology which is getting evolved, which is called a smart bed technology. So medical beds from say another year or so, like you will hear all these smart technologies coming into the medical beds.
Yes, Balu. It is already there. It is already there. Even if the patient is getting up and going, it will give an alarm. More than 3
Alert.
minutes, patient
Correct.
is not there on the bed. So whether
Correct.
he is run away without paying the bill, we will come to know. It will show respiratory rate, heart rate. We have seen since 2 years that is there in all the what is that exhibitions. We have seen that.
Are you buying
Right.
for your hospital?
Okay.
So lot of German manufacturers started manufacturing this kind of bed,
correct.
especially heel-rom kind of guys. The sleeping pattern and everything which we can see already. Actually.
Yeah. So this for India, people have started developing this, and I think in a few years' time you will have these beds, and particularly made very affordable. So that is the thing which is essentially required for India. So like all this technology can come within say around 10,000 rupees. That's it, in addition. So you could able to monitor this. So in future, like you will have a lot of affordability as well as the technology built into the beds. Yeah.
Which company?
Balu, with a lighter note.
Which is
With a
charging by
lighter
the
note. Lighter
Yes, sir.
note.
Yeah.
With a lighter note, there is now there is one machine is started coming to India. That machine, if we can keep near any Scotch bottle, it will tell whether that bottle is fake or original. So it is very good boon for us. We will come to know whether it is a Scotch bottle is fake. Like that, we should have one machine. That bed is 8 this thing, and because everything there also when we go we will trust only and buy. Here also we trust and buy. We should have some machines. No. They have found out for that, but not for this. Anyhow, over to Prashant. Nice, really nice. Very good. So many people learned so many things. Shekhra?
Yeah, tell me. Go ahead.
You want to add?
No. When are you buying the bed? You should buy the bed first.
No, I have seen it. I have seen it in Dubai. I have seen it in Bangkok International Exhibition. I didn't buy it because
You
it is
buy
all these things are there.
No,
I didn't
you
buy
buy
it.
first, and then you will buy.
No,
This is correct, Dr. Dinakar. Here, last the Dubai exhibition, some Turkish companies and German companies displayed this.
Yeah.
No, it is there,
So
and it is very cheap also. And instead of bed, we have to keep one small it is a small plastic thing, just plastic color. Just it's a very soft plastic material. Keep it under the bed sheet. That's it. When the patient is sleeping, it will only pick up the respiratory rate, heart rate, and it will pick up the weight, and it will pick up patient is lying on the bed. It will show bed number, everything, and what is so many other parameters it will show. It is there. Anyhow.
So in our get well beds, we are working on that, sir. So probably in another say around 3 or 4 months from now, we'll be getting into that smart bed technology.
I think so. In the meantime, you can give me also. No, I already we have ordered you so many things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you,
Right.
Gupta ji. Thank you, Neelesh. Thank you, people.
Thank you.
Anything you want to? All the speakers, you want to tell anything regarding your subject?
Yeah, doctor.
Dinakar. Hello.
Yeah,
Which
can
company
hear.
is
Go ahead.
Smart bed?
Hello.
Smart bed company is this?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, doctor, sir, this is Ramesh again. Do you mind if I intervene one thing? I need to give some good information to all people. So I thought, can you spare a minute to me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. First thing, we were discussing about the antibacterial stuff. So the antibacterial can be found out in terms of swab and culture test. This is one part of it. And second thing is due to transition in the protocol of infection and everything, across the globe and silver ion powder coating material is available. So why do we drink water from a silver glass? There is a reason and copper. So it directly acts on embedded. The embedded silver ion silver acts on the bacteria and viruses. So this is a foolproof thing. It is not antibacterial, but it is a foolproof one which kills, and it has been proven. It's a proven technology across the globe. So if at all this becomes a light, I mean, it becomes a place to throw a light on this. It will be very, very useful for all the manufacturers, for all the doctors also. So please have this in mind, because now all the powder coating, I mean, the major places the powder coating is done by adding silver onto it. So it's a very big subject and it's very good one, which is proven.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody wants to ask any questions? Yeah, Prashant, over to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think it's been a wonderful session. A lot of information has been generated from this today's session. I'm sure a lot of other queries will be there. If any of the participants wants any information from our speaker, can directly contact us. We will give their details and contact number. Thank you very much for this wonderful session. And we would like to thank all the speakers. As I request our NNF President, Kotreshi sir, to speak a few words and then we'll conclude the session. Over to you, sir.
And, Ganesh, you also should speak, Ganesh. Ganesh?
Sure, sir. After Dr. Kotreshi, I will certainly.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Kotreshi, sir?
Okay, sir. Okay. Wonderfully done sessions regarding the implementation of NICU. This today's topic is excellent, and the eye opener for who has been starting their own setups with the art electric gadgets. And thank you very much for the speakers. And I've been very thankful of Prashant and Dinikar who's doing a wonderful job on this occasion. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Ganesh ji, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I think we are learning more than what we should. So, being in the technology space, we only focused on equipments, technology, and how it can be a solution. But sitting through these sessions, it has given us immense value to connect, not just be silo-minded in thinking about what we have as products or solutions, but to understand the entire ecosystem. When it can bring in so much of value to us, as learning, obviously for all those young entrepreneurs who are going to build healthcare and who are going to be the ones who are going to save many lives. I'm sure this is hugely useful. I should thank all the speakers for making the effort to make it, and most of the speakers, one unique facet of the program that we've been seeing over the last 12 weeks. It's clearly about how hands-on each of the speakers have been. I think the selection of speakers and their willingness to share their experience and not some theory, is truly value which is immeasurable. And I'm sure a lot more will benefit out of this. So thanks to everyone, thanks to the organizers, and thanks to Dr. Dinkar for visioning this program, and Dr. Prashant, who always makes whatever Dr. Dinkar's dream. If somebody can make it happen, it is Dr. Prashant. And I think this terrific combination of two friends really made all our lives enriched with a lot of learnings. And this is all I have to say. And I should say I'm very thankful for even allowing us to be part of this venture to build and rebuild for the new normal. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ganesh ji. Thank you, all the speakers and our panelists, Vinod and Dr. Vijay Kumar as well. We had a very long session, so thank you very much, and it was very, very useful session. That's the reason why it went till almost for 3 hours. Thank you. Have a great Sunday evening. We will catch up again this coming Wednesday. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, Kotreshi, sir, thank you. All the speakers.